And we used to have like a red phone at home that would be direct from State House, the hotline we used to call it. So you're carrying
something is happening.
Are there times the president would just call directly?
Yeah, that hotline was for the president.
For that.
And only for him. And he had it in all PC's residence. It was a red phone. That was a hotline. And then so it was him or the PS for internal security, who at that time was Zakayo Cheriot. And I remember actually one time I picked up the phone. Hey, the crazy kid as I am. And I was like, hello. And I was like, habari. I'm like, hey,
was Moyo on the line?
Yeah,
I think I would faint.
And he was like, is the PC in? I said, no, he's not there.
Oh, you know it was the president?
Yeah. Akikuja mwambie, Moyo alipiga. It's all about those letters that follow themselves on the keyboard. JKL. Sit back. But you'll have to have more space here because Jeff asks you questions.
Oh, I know.
And then he changes his voice. So he starts big and says, he says, this is a beautiful process, but I have to ask. How did it make you feel?
Does he speak like that all the time?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God,
he says,
how does he
mambo. That's how he says hi, mambo.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff, but he's so cool.
I think he's been in character all his life. That's how he speaks. The day he retires, atakwa, yalikuwa noma.
I used to wonder why, when I got in that time in media, watu walikuwa naimba. Like they report the news and they're singing. I was like, what's going on? Na hapo tulipona. Alikuja. A friend of mine called Duncan Hemba. Shout out Duncan. Me enjoy sana.
Shout out Duncan Hemba, man.
Yeah, me enjoy sana because there's a day we were doing a food shortage story. And he said that tulienda kwa soko, tukapata kitunguu, viazi, pamoja na nyanya. So tukamuliza nyanya. What's nyanya? Do you go around saying nipatie nyanya? Just say nipatie nyanya. Breeder is actually the first person who shouted me out in a song.
Oh, wow.
In the Calicatel 3. It says, nishamaliza 10 over 10, nishaifunga kama Willis. And then out of that rhymes, Calligraph picked it up and said, 10 over 10? Big shout out to Willis Raburu for representing us again and again. I was like, Uko right, Kali, no represent. Oh, gee, baby. Yeah, so.
Over 26.
This is
the Brunch Club.
Over 26.
Welcome back to
The mics are cool.
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand. What up? My name is Chaxy, the mastermind, your main guy, the Lord Chaxy, the brew from Mariah is around,
What
the amazing
up?
Mwass is around, the whole gang is around, episode 186. We are
Mic check.
And finally, Buzz is in the building! What do you do? What do you do, man?
Niko salama sana.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
This dude can barely fit here. Do you need to move?
Honestly, we might have to.
Well, I mean, it's okay. But Niko comfortable, I guess.
Okay, if you're comfortable, but just know we can move it. Doesn't
You
have
can,
to.
yeah? I like to move it.
Sorry, come on. Come, let's move the table slightly.
It's right, lakini kikombe shiende bari.
Kidogo tu.
Yeah, move the table, kikombe shiende bali, icheze ki Arsenal.
Yes, icheze ki Arsenal.
Yani, si mbali, si karibu.
This is 6'1".
Hatushindi. Yeah, this is 6'1".
Na mimi nasemanga niko sijui 5'8", kumbe ni
Nigga,
uongo
shut
tu.
the hell
No,
up.
nigga, you're like 5'7".
5'6".
Wewe uko
5'4", 5.
I know,
6.
5'5" is too short.
5'6" more, so we're like the same height.
That's not true.
You're not the same height.
You're not
just
just
looking at you
Are you
now.
taller than
Looking at you now. It doesn't look like it's the same height. Well, of course, there's a reason you're taller than him now. While sitting, but
when I stand on business?
yeah, man, you already know. Yeah.
Lord.
You know, you and Mariah come from the same village.
Yeah, we are of the Guinea. Yeah, we must admit that where we come from,
Yeah.
we are greatly educated.
Yeah.
We are profusely, really educated.
Period.
Yeah.
So, so me growing up, my mom was a chief
Okay.
in the village.
Okay.
So your dad was a PC, a provincial commissioner.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yes.
So, because in the village, in that setup, as the chief, you're like the king of the village.
Yeah.
That's right.
And like all evenings, kuna kwanga na queue of guys' problems.
Yeah, everybody comes to see you. Yeah.
Then one day I'm like, oh, kumbe there's a deal.
Yes. In fact,
kuna DC.
it was DO3, DO1, then now DC.
Damn.
Bruh. And then now there's the PC.
Then now the PC.
Who I would not even say... the PCs would have been maybe bigger than the governors now.
Yeah.
Because
the
provinces were bigger than the counties.
Right? Provinces were big.
Because the provinces were bigger.
We had
Because, for example, like when we were
yeah.
in Nyanza, right? So it was Kisii, which is now a county, Nyamira, which is now a county.
Migori.
All that was Migori.
Kisumu.
Just look at Rift Valley.
Kure,
Peke.
all of that.
All of
Rift
it.
Valley was,
Rift Valley was the biggest.
that was the
still
biggest,
is.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
All the Bomets.
it was
all the,
quite
all-
something.
Okay.
The strict too. Extremely strict. My dad, damn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even if he calls me
To
today.
this
To this
yeah,
day.
ndo anaitwanga kunegotiate
Yeah.
madawaries and what he's
Well, yes, he does negotiate my dowry. But these
Respect.
days, as he's getting older, he's gotten a bit softer.
Really?
In terms of that, because I think he's seen that hii mambo ya ndoa usisimame sana mbele. Just let the people do what they do, you know? Yeah. So, but in all other aspects, I think I didn't do a lot of things in my life because I just thought that, like Chris Rock, my dad would just come out the door and just...
Really?
Like I was really scared. Ile kitu ya nitambia daddy, or for me, that was a major threat. It was like, uko, ni kama umeniweka on a, what's that thing called? The red list, pale ya Interpol.
Yeah.
Like I can't travel, I can't do anything. Like, and then, you know, back in the day, informants were everywhere. Kuna mama mboga pale anakata tu mboga, unasema,
But kuna maneno
yeah,
yako.
unasikia tu, nilimwona akiongelesha msichana hapo akinunua mahindi. And then you get home, you're like, ulikuwa unaongelesha nani? You're like,
How do you know that?
How'd you know that?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was quite, but growing up, it was beautiful to watch him, you know, get all that attention and stuff. Grew up with a lot of watu wa serikali around, bodyguards, whatnot.
Did you understand?
Order. I did not until, like, I remember the one Saba. When they came to get me at school, because, you know, in Kisumu City, tulikuwa pale karibu na Jua Kali. Jua Kali ilikuwa hapo, there was Aga Khan Primary School, and then hapo kando kulikuwa na sasa Jua Kali. So Saba ikianza and stuff was going down, ilikuwa naanza hiyo area. So there's a time niliambiwa tu Willis, and then our class, when I was in class 6, kulikuwa na ka window where you could see the stuff. So there was chaos, and these guys jumped the school fence, and they were running around, and there were shots, and we had to kind of duck. Kidogo nikaambiwa, oya! Umekujiwo na ka Land Rover 110.
Damn.
Nilikuja hapo like some movie stuff, man. Nikatolewa nikaweka kwa gari.
Home.
And I was gone. Go get my son. And of course, as me being the man of the people, nilijaza hapo.
Mbogi.
Mbogi, let's go.
110 people.
110 kwa 110. I like it, yeah. So it was interesting growing up, really. Yeah, it was quite, and sometimes you forget, and some of the things he tells me now, like back then, you know, that was Moi era. So sometimes he gets shocked, like, how people actually abusing the president?
He doesn't
like after, especially Uhuruto, and the way people would abuse until Uhuru akasamata anafungianga
Atatoka,
he was like, I don't understand. But I was like, maybe times have changed, sir.
Because he comes from a very different
he comes from a way,
tough
it was a very tough era where you couldn't even say, you would say it in whispers. You can't go like, unajua Moi alifanya, like, unajua nani? Like you gesture, you can't even say the name. And we used to have like a red phone at home that would be direct from State House, the hotline we used to call it. So you're carrying.
Something is
yeah.
happening.
Other times the president would just call directly.
Yeah, that hotline was for the
Specifically
president.
for that.
And only for him. And he had it in all PC's residence. It was a red phone. That was a hotline. And then so it was him or the PS for internal security, who at that time was Zakayo Cheriot. And I remember actually one time I picked up the phone. The crazy kid as I am. And I was like, hello. And I was like, habari. I'm like,
Was Moi on the line?
Yeah.
I think I would faint.
And he was like,
say?
is the PC in? I said, no, he's not there.
Oh, you know it was the president?
Yeah. Akikuja mwambie, Moi alipiga. I was like, so when I told my dad, first he thought I was joking.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I'm like, no, I'm serious. He actually called. Like, are you sure? Because if I call this brother, I almost use another word. But if I call this guy and he didn't call, you know, it's my diab on the line.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's for real. And I called, and then he said yes. And oh no, I found you ulikuwa mtoto tu. Hey. He hung up. He was like, "Don't you ever
Pick this one.
pick this one.
This Raidon specifically.
I mean, you didn't see the color." So yeah, it was an interesting time.
How old were you at that time?
So I guess I think all through from, let me see. I think when I was joining class 1, I think is when it became PC. Because he was DC first. So he was in different places, Kakamega, blah, 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 blah. And then when I was in class 6 is when it became PC of Kisumu. And then he went to Rift Valley, then I think he went to Centrals. By the time I was getting to Form 3, Form 4 is when he was retiring or retired. Yeah, akiwa pare Centro kwa Kibaki. So when he was with Moi, he was PC in Rift Valley. Then when Kibaki came, akampeleka kwake Central. And then especially because of, he didn't like the alcohol. He was the original Mutudo. You ulikuwa unaingia Nyeri unapata billboard ya 10 commandments.
Really?
Yeah, he put it up there. And he used to go around schools giving people stickers written, God is good. Yep, true. And so when we used to go with him in the car, Kifika 11, and Willis, Kuja, he used to have this kabuti that's this color gray. My mom hated it, but he loved it because it was so faded. That uniform is so faded, kijana. How long have you been in uniform 1? So sasa yake ilikuwa faded. And he used to wait tunaingia kwa Mahindra, tunaenda tukichota watu wenye wanakunywa past 11 ilikuwa curfew 11.
So you used to do these operations with your dad?
I never knew what they were because there's even a time alinisomesha. So I have this guy who I came later to work with called Kimeli Arab Kimei and Peter Opono, who are my bosses as Citizen. And they were reminding me that there was one time there was like a Barasa, like they used to do Barasas.
Yes.
You mentioned Chief.
Yeah.
So they used to do Barasas. Shout out to my Chief Dere. So they used to do these Barasas.
Yeah.
And there's this one point my dad was like, Mungiki ni watu wambaya sana. Wanaweza uwa hata mtoto kama huyu. Simama. And I stood up and like, hi.
Wow.
Hello.
As a kid.
As a kid. Yeah. So it was an interesting dynamic over time.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that through the years, he's also shifted a lot of his perspective.
Nice.
Right now, when you talk to him, he's like, what's one thing I like about my dad is he's really shifted his perspective and he's really moving with the times and everything. Even when he talks about the Gen Z protest, like, yeah, y'all better go out there and speak truth to power.
Nice.
Wow.
Love that.
Yeah, so that was good.
And how's your relationship changed over the years as you grow older?
As I grow older, now I'm valuing it even more. Before, I remember there's a time though, I guess because he was away a lot, I was more close to my mom because we just stayed in Kisumu, so he would go wherever he's posted. Apart from that short time I said when he was in Kisumu, but the rest we would just be in one central place, go visit him over the weekend and come back. And so I was closer to my mom. But now growing older, when now you have dude problems and you need dude perspective. And it was hard initially to get because he was black and white. I mean, when I was going to campus, my dad told me if you have sex, you'll die.
What?
Yeah, that was like his thing. See, you have sex, the Lord's gonna come for you. You're gonna die. And then I did, and I realized I'm immortal.
Was his issue? So his issue was sex before marriage or just?
Yeah, it was because he's a staunch Christian. He's a pastor.
Oh shit.
So
Okay.
everything in the Bible.
Is black, white, man. Yeah, it's black, white.
Pastor, even when he was a PC or after?
Even when he used to preach. I used to preach. He used to take me to preach when I was in class 7, class 8. I used to go to schools. He gives me a session. I preach to people.
You?
Yes, I preached in high school. I preached in what do you call it? Primary. I preached in university. Yeah, you would know. And the Lord said, turn your Bible to John 3:16. And he said, for God so loved the world that he gave, which means love gives. Come on, get an amen.
All you're missing is that organ.
Yeah, so it was
Crazy.
and closer now after, of course, marriage and everything and all that period. Now, when I pick up the phone and I call him, he's gotten me out of a lot of stuff just by his advice.
Yeah.
So it's really great now when I talk to him. It's amazing.
Nice. Yeah. So what does he do now? Because I can imagine as a PC, he was so busy.
He was busy.
So retirement, isn't that a bit hectic for
It
someone?
was in the beginning, and that's the thing, I guess, because he was always on the move.
Yeah.
And so learning to sit still.
down.
Like I remember when he would be retired and he would just wake up and just go to church and just visit people. And so we were saying, no, this is your time to chill. Like sit back and,
Enjoy
look at
what you've
the
worked
years of
for.
service and all this stuff. So it's taken a while. I think actually, let's say from COVID is when he really really chilled, having retired way back. But now COVID, of course, now forceful chilling.
Yeah.
And then after that, he realized, you see wabaya hivyo, you know, you're not actually good folks to hang around. So now his problem is letting people go.
Yeah.
Like if you go to visit him, he doesn't want you to leave. If you try to take my mom away at the OSG, can mommy come and visit? No, why? Where you going? Why am I not going with you? What? Take me with you, please. Twende na wewe, mbona unaniacha? Yeah.
No, that's fire.
Yeah. I have a question. Like the way he's becoming softer.
Yes.
Do you see it like how he relates with your kids? Do you see a stark difference with your upbringing and how?
I'm shocked, bro.
Like, who is
Are you the same person?
I am shocked.
this?
I mean, even with my mom, first of all, with the noise, you know, my dad, dB yake pale kwa decibel yake ni kidogo sana. Ukifika 4, ukipita 4-5, anaanza kucomplain. But with the kids, my son screams a lot. I don't know where he gets it from, but
We also wonder.
They scream and they break stuff and they write on stuff, and he's like, it's okay. Wacha wafanye. In fact, before I got kids, he was telling me, "Unajua hii nyumba, things are too arranged.
Oh wow.
We need some chaos. Can you bring us chaos?" I'm like, what do you mean? No, you know, we want to hear feet. Do something. So he laughs, he smiles, I remember even one time he was not feeling well.
Yeah.
And I showed him the picture of the kids, and like in 2-3 days, it was much better. He was like, all right, I got places to go, folks. It's a wrap. I gotta go. So yeah, he really loves them. And it's both sides, even for Ivy's mom. Ivy's mom and Ivy, she tells me all the time, she's like, aya, sasa, huyu ni wewe. Like literally, mtoto anafanya kitu hapa vibaya, and you're like, wacha kufanya. Ni kama ile ya meja, acha kuacha. It's that like they are so different, and I it's crazy, but it's refreshing as well to see that they have a soft spot. Yeah.
That's quite interesting, man. Just to seeing the dynamics of just what times changing, but also even people getting softer and
like
evolving.
Soft, like tissue soft. It's like hardwood and tissue paper.
I can imagine if someone who knew your dad as the PC, as the stern person, as the
Would be
strict
shocked.
person,
Now
if they met them now.
Anashangaa huu ni wewe kweli.
Yeah, how is this the same
Ati ya
person?
buju ati
And it happens like with a lot of grandkids. Like you see the parents you wanted growing up, you see them with your grandkids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. It's kind of, you mentioned that because now we are having to reparent ourselves as well, because we thought that is the model of we are strict, it's my way or the highway, versus somebody who is so small and trying to tell you that daddy use inside voice. I say, oh sure, you inside voice.
Inside voice ni matusi.
Now I'm all of 3 years old.
Yeah.
So you're like, and being sensitive, like, oh, what are you feeling? Sisi ilikuwa bang bang bang. How you're feeling?
There was never feelings.
Wenda huko, ufilie huko. Akasikia vibaya huko kwenyu.
Na huko kwenyu.
Huko mbade. Yeah.
Was he particular on what you should study, like in high?
That is
especially
a whole,
in campus.
my goodness Christ.
Really?
Oh man, my dad, I lied to my dad until graduation, really. Because he wanted me to do IT. And I was like, first of all, he wanted me to do, I remember I really wanted to do international relations.
Okay.
But he was like, who you know is hiring people who are doing? I told him ambassadors. See, you are going to be an ambassador. You better study the IT, because that's the time when, you know, it was
computer.
computer. So it was lawyer, IT, doctor.
Over.
Yeah. So he was like, you better study this thing because it's marketable. I was like, no, I want to do media. It's like, who do you know who is hiring media side? Who is hiring? So I said, okay, cool. So I went to talk to my uncle. My uncle said, how about you try to do law? I went to law, no offense to lawyers. But I went to this Moi University Annex. Pale huko Eldoret.
Moi.
Hey, you know, well. I guess we were giving back. So I looked at the people there and they were like, there wasn't happiness. They were just darling. Wanabeba books kwa hiyo academic angle. I told my uncle, I can't do this, man. And then he told me, the Moi University has a program called Information Science. Now, in the program list, the course list, is divided. So there's IT, there's library, which I also want to do. Then there was publishing and media. So you can go in and Because you pick it at you pick your course at the time at third year. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So anybody who met me when I was with my dad, like, this is my son Willis, and he's studying IT. This is my son Willis, he's studying IT. But lo and behold, graduation day, pale ya watu wa IT ilikuwa pale. Akakuja hivi tunakaa hapa. I said, no,
piga left.
Tunaenda pale kwa media. Akasema, what? Then my mom said, so utakasirika na mtoto ana graduate. Unajua mtoto alikuwa ameanza kuleta ndoto. Then we were like, and then luckily for me at that time.
And this is like 24, 25.
Yes, and luckily for me at that time, I had already got the job at Citizen.
Okay. But so angekasirika angefanya nini?
Yeah, I mean, nikasema okay, wacha tukae hapa.
Ungemwambia dad inside voice.
Me ndo ningekuwa inside a jail cell. If you talk me, I've never. But I think I can count the number of times I've spoken back
to your dad.
To my dad. It's something I deal with even now. But learning to also have my inside voice, own voice. But nowadays I do it more. But back then,
couldn't.
It was everything was rhetoric. Hata akikuuliza how are you feeling? Like, yeah, niko sawa. Joke yaza hapo. You saying something?
Afu unakata.
Unajaribu kufanya
negative.
Yeah. Come on with it. Yeah. So
ushaimwona kichapa mtu?
Now that's the other thing. With all his strictness, he's never laid a hand on any one of us. My mom, on the other hand, didn't get the memo. My mom was raining. My mom rained on my butt. Alikuwa ananichapa with everything. And yani slippers.
Whoa. Whatever.
My mom, like, you had to, before you tell us some news, you had to check. I mean, still is very sweet. But ukiangalia, like, so kama imeza hapa, uweze mwambia kitu ati hizi vikombe ziko hapa. Back in the day. Ati so mama, najua mwalimu alisema, reflexes. Unakumbuka ile George Bush dodging the shoe. Yeah. You had to be like that with my mom. But also, I think from when I go to class, I remember nilichapwa last class 8 August. That's the last time my mom alinichapa. However, till date, if she tells me, Willis, unajua nitakuchapa, like, I'm like,
she says that.
but I can move. She says, no, Willis, mingine jagoi. So you're like,
because you're still a kid. You're like, regardless of how old you are, you'll always be a kid.
Always. She just looks at me, and I get now, when I have my kids, sometimes I just sit and stare at them, and look at them, like, and they ask, what's wrong, Daddy? I'm like, no, it's okay. So I get that's why she looks at me, because I still remember changing, like when my daughter was born, literally had 2 legs, because I have big hands, ilikuwa zina fit hapa. Nikifanya hivi nikimchange diaper. Nowadays lazima nimshike.
Yeah.
So I can imagine for my mom from that, if that was me, to look at all of this, 6'1". So she's like, "Hiya, now you," you know. Then sometimes I have to remind her, "Hey, who are you talking to?"
Yeah, I'm not a child.
Like I'm grown now.
Yes, let's discuss. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
And were you always were you always a fan of football and sports?
Oh, yes, I played some sports. It's just my mom was, again, I'm the last born, so my mom was very protective of me. I played football when I was in primary, and that's when I fell in love with Eric Cantona and Manchester United. When I was in class 5, class 6, back then. And then in high school, so funny story. So when I was in class 8, I was 100 kgs.
Class 8.
Class 7 and 8, I was 100 kg.
Record broken.
How much were you weighing?
In class 8, I think I was in my 60s.
You were in your 60s?
Yeah.
Well, cheers.
Nigga.
Yeah.
So when I went to camp, to high school, I remember, you know, like the way guys you're given uniforms. So mimi nisikuwa na uniform, because, you know, I didn't get my size. And so everybody thought I was a teacher. So I guess
Even because when you're 60 and you're short,
are you alright?
But when you're 100 and you're tall, full size adult.
Yeah,
because I'm assuming at that time.
I was already tall. Yes, already tall, and already even by that time, sikuwa niko na, because Tafizi ilikuwa nafika number 12. Wow. So I remember actually one time, literally, my dad and probably because of his connections, took me to Batalimuru. I put my foot on a paper and they drew it out. I went and picked the soles of the shoes that I want, and they made me 3 pairs. Yeah. Special order. Kutoka Bata.
Bro, hii ni size gani size yangu?
Hii ni size yangu.
What is
Hii ni size yangu. Size yako ni gani?
Yangu.
Size ya miai. Me and I. So
Custom.
people were wondering, now mwalimu ni mpoa kwa dome na wanafunzi. He's such a good, you know. And I went there, I remember I attempted kulala kwa deka ya juu. And I broke it.
Huyu mtu wako chini alikuwa anatetemeka.
Yeah, luckily hata ilikuwa imefika time ile tu umefika unasainiwa bed, nikasainiwa juu, so nikapanda nikasema then well I guess that's that. Chini got that one. Then now
Jesus Christ.
the captain at the time, school captain called Lawrence Olum, I remember said this one, he said he's going to make an example of me in a good way. He's like, hii weight yako lazima hii.
Yeah.
So man, and we used to run cross country. I was in Chemelil Academy. So uko around the plantation, literally, yeah, sugar cane, yeah. We would run and run, and then he would always have. I used to walk most of the time, but he would be there. When you come, I mean, hata kauja nona, but mtu akuslap iya mgongo, man, unaisikia ni kama
boost.
Energizer.
Yeah, like unasikia ni kama mtu amekutase.
Yeah.
So we did that. By the time my mom was coming to visit me, because I know I must have been like 80 kgs, because when I went home and I was sick, kupimwa, I was 70 in 3 months.
Wow.
Because, I used to eat a lot because I'm at home.
Yeah.
Soda, This one, you're now in a program, literally. You're running.
It's morning,
you're
10,
in school. Morning
lunch,
ni 6.
yeah.
Na si ati ni mingi.
True.
Mazoea nyumbani ati,
Very limited.
nilikuwa nakula mkate like 8.
Excuse you?
8 slices nafanya.
Na boflo ya kitambo ilikuwa nono.
So unafanya. Na sasa umeweka de. You say the brand. Okay.
Sema margarine.
Margarine. Umeweka margarine pale shasha na jam shasha, then unaikula.
Vikombe 6 za chai.
Hata half loaf in uko nili niko nakata katikati half loaf hivi, ile block unakata katikati, unapaka huku peanut butter huku, then alafu finish the thing. But now sasa uko in the morning, you got 1 egg. If you're lucky, join from 1. And then you have 2 slices. And that's it.
Egg ni boiled.
Eboiro. Ukifika pale time ya uji. That's it. Lunchtime, same, rice or whatever. Lakini sasa jioni, sasa place ilikuwa ni nyuma ni the party pa nyama. Pale nyumbani nilikuwa nimezoea kuweka nyama mige, nyama. Huku,
you're lucky if you even get
I mean, so I used to like sneak like 4, because senior 4 months walikuwa na serve. So naweka nyama, una sneak 4 chini ya ugali, and then huku umeweka 2. So wakasema ati, wewe for 1 umejiogea ngapi? Wasema, ni hizi 2 tu. But uko na 4 huku down. So but you see still it was like, and then we eat at 6. We eat at 6 p.m.
So till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow. So you see you're like in a diet, crash course.
True.
And so I just, when my mom came for visiting, she was like, oh my God, I can see your collarbone. Are you okay? What are they doing to you over here? So I became taller, and like I had like a lollipop neck.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was quite something. Yeah. So for me, and then of course the jokes and stuff like that. From class 6, I used to be called Big Daddy Cool Diesel. I was really fat shamed a lot. And then also I did look like a Luo. So when I'm in Kisumu, and Luos wanakuangalia, hey, mato chwe? Who nani? No, nini. But they don't think I can hear.
Because they don't think
then I have to walk back. And I used to, man, it was crazy because, you walk, your shorts zinapanda hapa hivi. You have to keep walking. Okay. It wasn't pleasant. It was a lot. Tunapata hapa hivi ni rough. You got some, it was intense. So I was happy that I lost weight.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Menu unaniangalia sana.
Would you say that is something you've struggled with?
Weight? Yes, that's why I did the surgery.
Yeah.
So I would say for me, it's something I've struggled with all my life. And so you lose, you gain. I think my body type, they call us something endomorph, I think. And if I got it wrong, don't crucify me. But it's because, so you can lose weight very fast. Like
and pick it back very fast.
And then the same, the reverse. I remember there's a time I lost 20 kgs. I went to visit my brother in the US. I gained 9 kgs in 2 weeks.
Damn.
So sugar and carbohydrates for me.
Enemy.
Yani literally unaenda kwa ndege umefly, unaweza funga belt. Ukirudi, unaitisha extension.
Wow.
So I was like, damn. So I was like, every time I trained with different trainers, Eval, Alvin Lee, Morris, all these people, and I kept going. So I said, one time I started, then of course, after COVID and all the stuff happened in my life, I started gaining weight because I stress eat. Yeah, that's my thing. Mimi kama niko na stress,
eat food.
and I don't realize it. Naweza kaa hivi nimekula mmepika chapati ati sasa hii itatutosha hizi 8.
Za wiki.
Ni zako.
Zitatutosha. Mimi nikutopa unawatch tu movie. No.
Na zinaisha.
Ukishika hivi tena hot pot.
What do you mean? Damn.
How many chapas in one sitting before 20?
I would do like maybe 20. I would do maybe
that's 15 one sitting.
Who?
King Kaka.
Moja.
Huyu moja
Moja.
Imagine.
15 one sitting. 15 chapatis one sitting.
The devil is a lie. Me, I used to do like that. That one I could do that in a day.
Okay.
But then again, remember that is a day and I'm like in class 6. So
Damn.
that was the difference.
Mulikuwa na chapati 6 class 6.
Sasa si nyumbani.
Oh.
Nyumbani.
What school is this?
Sasa hata my mama amesema sasa leo nimewapikia chapati hii. Kesho nasema naweza pata chapati ile yaja. Willis no setieko. Alishamaliza hizo.
Na nyama kilo 6 na buffalo na chai.
So I used to really struggle with it, and so that's why I decided, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me just go for the surgery.
Which is the gastric bypass.
Gastric bypass.
So for someone who's hearing about this for the first time, how can you just describe it?
Yeah.
All right, so gastric bypass surgery. First, I do advise that if you can still lose it, 2 things. Number one, first of all, the decision is not supposed to be made because like Willis did it or you saw somebody do it or you think it's fancy. You need to really sit with yourself first, even before you sit with your loved ones and decide this is what I want to do.
Gotcha.
Because it's a surgery. So basically what it does is first you go for, and they're different. So there's bypass, there's full bypass, there's half bypass, there's gastric sleeve, there's gastric balloon. So what you go is first you sit with them and they'll ask you what are your habits, they take sort of your history, what your weight is, what your goal is, and where you are on the BMI. Yeah, they'll check that out as well. And then after that, they'll advise you because most actors and actresses use the balloon. Because basically what the balloon is, you just unawekwa ndani, then it's like the name suggests, if this is your stomach, it just goes and then fills space in your stomach. So therefore, automatically you eat less. But after 6 months, it fills out and you're just back. So it's supposed to train you for those 6 months to eat less so that after you continue eating less. But uki kula tena sana. Welcome back. Inarudi. Then the sleeve is they wanakata and they put just like a sleeve basically. But the bypass is, so this is your stomach and they literally cut half of it. And then they bypass your, I don't know the whatever, but they bypass it to the intestine, and they bypass it down there to the bottom. So then you literally have sort of 2 small stomachs, but really one is smaller. So now definitely you will eat less
For sure.
and you can't eat more because now you have a smaller stomach. Hata ukijaribu, like, so for me, I'll give an example. KFC, I would do 8 pieces in a sitting. Now, if I do 2, it's a challenge. Pizza, I would finish a whole pizza on my own. Sasa nikifanya hata 3 pieces nimeipush sana. Nasikia nimeshiba ile, I'm not comfortable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then again, if you eat too fast in the beginning, it's something called dumping. So you just feel like you start sweating, you want to vomit because like your absorption rate imefanyika haraka sana. Or if you take sugars sana, you start getting headaches. It's quite something. So you ease yourself through the process.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How does that work with energy levels?
Energy levels are actually, so for me, like when they were telling me this thing, I thought they were joking. Because after the surgery, really, they say that you literally take like yogurt, dip a tablespoon, dip it and you just lick it. And you only take 500 milliliters of water. And you would think that, hey, sita shiba. Naingia pale, juni ile na hiyo surgery kaniko 164 kgs.
Yeah.
And I was huge. So you can imagine, mtu kuambia tutashiba. And unashiba. Like literally unashiba.
Half a liter of water and one lick of yogurt.
Yeah. Because of I think you're also in that, we've gone through a surgery and it's not ya kukata, it's laparoscopic. So they do 5 holes, put the equipment, do the stuff. Yeah, you can literally leave the hospital that day if you want. They just keep you 3 days just for observation. But even after those 3 days, you can travel, you can do these things. But now you're on a liquid diet for a month. Not liquid puree. Like
for a month.
For about a month. It's about 2 years away. And then you lose taste for some foods. It's quite, but the reward though.
Yeah.
Ati naweza ingia kwa nini sahi ni pick out, weka kale ka 2XL.
I have it.
It's
And you
great.
look great.
Honestly, you
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You
Thank
look
you.
really good.
No,
Yeah.
plus I see you still work out, so
Yes.
Oh, does it
Now,
affect the working out?
so you can't for the first 3 or 4, and then 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Just because again, it's like you
body
have
has
stitches.
to-
You have stitches, so you don't want to lift heavy things. And then after, then you can. I guess you go back to.
Ease into it.
Yeah, because me, since I started working out, I feel like I eat way more than I used to.
Yeah, you do. You kind of eat more, but now that's the thing. It's supposed to be so. Also, part of the program is supposed to go to nutrition therapy.
Okay.
So you're told like this is what your body needs. This is what you feel like. Have to have literally a relationship with food, because then there is that kagil chekai nimekula ka pizza sasa. I gotta go. Yeah, so you have to balance it.
Okay.
Balance all of that stuff. So yeah, but it's good. It's a nice program.
Is it a permanent one?
Yeah, this one is permanent.
This is permanent,
Yeah,
okay.
this is permanent.
Maintenance?
Iko sawa, haina mambo mingi.
Okay.
Yeah, you just ease now. You basically you're like a kid. You're discovering. Sasa, if you used to eat this, I'm
you have to find a substitute.
Yeah, your stomach pain is adjusting. Unaweza kula something I used to, like I remember I used to eat this meal at the restaurant, chicken curry and what, but when I ate it, body likata nili. So you'll go through that a lot. Even your favorite food, saa zingine ni mafuta itakukataa. So you have to just keep changing and adjusting until finally now I'm okay. Now I eat every time.
But njahe?
Jahe iko ndani. Lazima ukule jahe. Jahe is a very important thing.
Tell them.
Sana kwa wanaume.
Inasaidia?
Tukule jahe.
It helps.
Any.
Miss J bado tu njaa imepikwa poa.
Hata mimi.
Like I literally enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've never
See, like
enjoyed
githeri, I've
jahe.
had good githeri, bad githeri. Good beans, bad beans.
Yes.
Then good, bad.
But jahe is good. Jahe is good.
Jahe, either way.
I've never had good jahe. I've never.
Jahe usijali. Mambo iko sawa.
Mama yangu iko sawa.
Jahe ni kitu ya roho.
Did you so the telecom, the red telecom company,
Right,
they
yes.
actually paid you 6.5 M
They haven't
using
yet.
Badu.
They were given a
Bazoo.
chance to appeal.
Okay, and they appealed.
Yes, they did. Albeit late, but they did. Yeah.
So Bazoo, were you the one who coined it or the one who trademarked it?
I
first?
trademarked it. Sorry, I trademarked it.
Okay.
Yeah. However, when the song came out, shout out to Ethic. When the song came out, Big Band Bazoo, and I was doing 10/10 at the time. And then everybody just started, hey, this the dude then. And then I was like, hey, yo, you think, is this me? Like, fanya kitu naweza fanya. So I was like, all right, cool. Bet on it. So since I did Kalale. And yeah, I was like, you know what? This is actually, let me trademark this thing. I didn't even know that, it will become, and also it's really, to be honest, it's because, so I was involved in the process of, coming up with the program, which was 10/10, of course, and everything like that. And then I think during the process, I realized, which is well within anybody's right, really, that Citizen patented the name, right? So I was like, oh, so wait a minute. I'm working my butt off in this thing, but it's not mine.
That's 10/10. The name,
Yeah,
10/10.
the name 10/10. So I'm like, oh, okay. Then I guess, so I actually did talk to the same lawyer or Citizen. I'm like, so what do you do? I was like, oh, so this is the process, this is what you do, and it's how you go through it. I was like, oh, okay. All right, cool. Thanks. Because then it's safer that way. Because I remember when other shows are being started at RMS, and they had same names as some similar shows in South Africa. So some of the things that needed to change, and and so it's just important to actually patent your stuff, stuff that you know that you're going to use and stuff like that. So when I now went to my lawyer, and I was like, so can we do this thing? And that's when I found out about Kipi and what they do and how they make the announcement, and they give you about 60 days. They advertise it for 60 days. If anybody has a claim, if nobody has a claim, then boom, a certificate.
So how does a corporate work? Like if I didn't know that was trademarked,
you are supposed to know. Now that is ignorance is not a defense.
Okay.
You are supposed to do your due diligence to find out. Just it will take you. It can be a phone call. It can be a search. It won't take you long.
Okay.
You just check. Hey, you are to attack kuitumia. Is it? I know this one is
because it's popularly linked to someone.
Yes,
or you can directly,
especially if it's popularly linked to somebody. And some people have been crafty to come and they approach me first. Then they offer me, like in Kaka say, Tony's and Jugu kwa meza silipong in peanuts. They offer me peanuts, and then now they go ahead and use it anyway. So I was like, okay, do what you gotta do, but tutakutana pare inafaa ku.
So in their defense, what are they saying that they didn't know?
Well, so in the initial defense, they were just like it came up.
It's a local
but they didn't actually use that in the defense. That I can remember, they mostly say that it was brought to them through agency or something like that.
As usual.
of course, they blame the agency.
But then,
But they signed it off anyway.
They signed on.
Because the agency also represents them.
They signed up on it, and we did demand letters before cease and desist, everything. So it was a whole process.
How playful can it get? Like if you do bazoo with like 3 U's.
So there's something called image and likeness, and then also your intent to deceive. So if you know, for example, that bazoo is linked to me, and then you put another U, I could still argue. Then it's up to the court to decide. I could still argue that, but you're creating confusion on the brand. So
the intent is to still
to give that association.
Yes.
That it associated to Willis and his numbers and his whatever. Yeah. So you can still argue that way. But it's a give and take. It's you have to really present the facts. Yeah, that is really the intended to create that confusion.
But if I open a bar and I call it zoo.
You call it ZU? No, okay.
Come to my bar.
You know what?
Hapo lawyer wako atafikiria.
Yeah, itakuwa but you already gonna be so hapo uko sawa. Hiyo ni bar zoo. This is bar zoo.
Come to my bar zoo.
Come to my bar zoo. It's really amazing. Like super cocktails.
But amesema it's bazoo, but slogan ile by mabazu.
Yeah, well,
now the slogan is not like
but then also you see their classes. So when you're trademarking, you trademark on different classes.
Yeah.
There is textile, there is entertainment, there is business names. Just generally, if you want to use a business name, there's food and nutrition. There's all these classes that you need to choose which one it is that you want to trademark on. Yeah. So, but still, even if let's say I've trademarked to let's say mimi nataka tu kwa nguo mtu asitumie, but still my name, like because I've done music with it and people call me that, and even when people report on me, they say you can prove that online, even not on Anita, all that stuff. Then you can still argue that he is still going to create confusion, and mainly if it's if it's making you lose money. Like for example, if Said company now, once they started using that name, somebody could argue that the other telco couldn't approach me because they already know that this Willis is already
true. So even business-wise, it fucks up your bag.
Yes. So that's now actually there.
Yeah, because if they use it and it's linked to you, then also if the other guys wanted to work with you,
they're like, we are
conflict of interest. Now we are una interest.
Now we are una interest.
Exactly.
Yes, it's essential actually.
Yeah.
If it's really linked to you the way Bazoo is linked to you, it makes sense because you could lose business.
You could lose business.
Because someone else is profiting from something that you coined and made popular.
Yeah, but of course, it's in the courts and we're going to wait for the outcome of the court.
What are you going to do with the 6.5M if it comes? I want you to get the 6.5M.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, what are you going to do with the money?
Thanks very much. Wow. Well, next question. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely wiser now than I was before.
True.
So I'll definitely invest in a couple of stuff that I've been thinking about and dreaming about. And of course, make sure, the kids in the family are secure. That comes first. And then
lakini yako ka 0.5 kana tolewango.
Kala kwa confide hiyo
ni for your sweat.
For blowing.
That one is you don't account for it.
Honestly,
hiyo hata iko.
It doesn't count.
Hiyo iko na pia
hiyo ni withdrawal.
Hiyo ni ya kutoa. Hiyo ni man. Hiyo ni man. Whoa. Hiyo get me some shoes, have some fun.
True.
Do something. Now hiyo nitaji hiyo.
That's for you.
In fact, I might just make it 600 because I need a tithe.
I'm curious, are you rigid with your demands? Is it cash or if they offer you deals worth the same amount?
Well, I think for the negotiation phase, that one now unfortunately, it's already a ruling.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already a ruling. If it was before, probably, but now it's the courts at the courts.
Mercy.
Mercy Sasa. Yes, unless I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I mean, if they reach out of court, I don't know if it's my lawyer will have to advise me on that.
Yeah. Are you watching the Olympics currently?
I'm waiting. Actually,
Omanala.
nataka kuona.
What time is Omanala today?
12:55.
12. Yes.
12:55.
55.
Oh shit. Okay, cool.
In a few minutes.
Yeah.
But then the finals are June.
Ni jioni. So leo ni saini semi.
The first hit.
The first hit alafu
and then semis, then finals.
Yeah. Jioni ama kesho.
Johnny.
Okay.
Everything is happening in one day.
All right.
Alafu this one if you
That's what
miss,
she
you
said.
missed.
Yeah.
Asemi ati acha tumalize podcast to come tuendele kuona race.
Ndio hiyo.
Yeah, then it's
Na kwanza hiyo toa ukimiss.
Ni
Mimi
hivyo.
sasa
hiyo ni-
unakojoa uwezi.
it's too late. What did you think of the opening ceremony?
Well, damn.
No, what did Mr. Raburu think of the opening?
Hey, has he seen it?
He hasn't seen it.
Okay, lucky.
But he hasn't seen it. Otherwise, he would have gone into prayer.
He'll be fasting and praying
And
now.
cast out. You know those prayers for, is it Psalm 32 or Psalm 30? Yeah, make their path
Make the
slippery.
part, yes.
Yeah, those are those dangerous prayer. I think they went too far, if you ask me. I know there is freedom of expression, but of course, normally it is in the context of the expression should not cause somebody else harm, injury, and that is both physical and emotional. So what they did with that, as much as, hiyo ni vitu mnaweza fanya hapa kwa private party, have your own drag queens and do what you gotta do. That's great. But when something as big as that, it also takes away the attention from what is supposed to be. I mean, Celine was singing that day.
Aya Nakamura was performing.
I know, right? So, and then it's also the Olympics, and also just, if it was a network show, cool. But the Olympics is going to be watched by
Global.
everybody.
The whole world.
The whole
kids.
world.
It's a
Yeah,
family- it's a
including
family
kids.
event. Yeah.
Exactly. So it can't be something that, wait, what?
What's crazy is that literally that, I don't know how long it was, but definitely less than 5 minutes.
Is the whole
Is now what
now the
everybody's talking about.
conversation.
We're getting the entire opening
Yeah.
ceremony.
Yeah.
Like, no one even remembers everything else that happened.
that, and
except
they put black people on ships. Americans, waving flag.
Yeah.
Put everybody on ships.
By the way, even the Kenyan...
Wanatukumbusha nini?
Yeah.
But so I think they were playing around with it. Sometimes people think that it's expression, but more often times we have to understand that everybody everywhere has an agenda somehow. So it could be looking playful or freedom of expression and désolé and je n'ai pas but yeah,
But even
you have
then
to be
again,
sensitive.
what does it have to do with the Olympics? Like it was, even the correlation.
The
I
Last
couldn't
Supper
find-
and Olympics.
I couldn't find the
It's not like
correlation.
Jesus was eating rings at the Last Supper. What's going on? He wasn't running. Hakuwa kwa relay ati yo, tunaona nani atafika Golgotha. Shika. It wasn't like that. It was just like, it had nothing. Like it was absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was just hapo walifambo.
Walifanya ile kitu. But anyway, so just a quick reminder that DSTV has 9 dedicated channels that are showing all the Olympics games. All you need is DSTV access for $1,300 a month, or a bouquet higher than that. If you don't have a decoder, you can just download DSTV Stream on tablets, phones, TVs, computers, and any other gadgets. And all you need to do is just pay the subscription, and you can catch all the Olympics games live in HD. South Sudan was.
Yeah.
South Sudan is a big
Basketball.
moment.
Yeah, it's
South
a big
Sudan
moment.
is a big moment.
And they messed up the anthem.
Are you serious?
Yes. You didn't see the
No.
the
They
Olympics?
played the wrong anthem.
Yeah, they played the wrong
The problem
anthem.
is I wouldn't know even if they
South
played the
Sudan.
wrong anthem.
They
Like, I
did. It
wouldn't
was a
know.
whole thing online, and they did a statement and everything.
Yo.
They played it in full. I'm like the guys.
They played the whole thing. Then now, of course, rectify.
Wakagodha tena. Hawako serious.
I was like, how do you mess up? Even though
crazy.
hour to hour.
Yeah.
And it's not. And it's French.
But they are quite racist from what I understand. Like
That's
they
what I'm saying.
really,
It's not helping their case.
really.
But at the level
Do
of
not care.
at the level of showmanship that is the Olympics, for you to mess up something as simple
Even
as
That's on
anthem.
purpose. Something is on
Because
purpose.
I'm like, imagine when Omanala needs to go on and then the anthem
then it was,
plays.
yeah.
Uganda
Different
plays.
Uganda.
It's like, bruh.
Okay.
Hey, Kyotis,
They better not try that
They
today.
they can
They
never
better.
try that with Kenya.
Acha nikwambie, tunaweza
will ban.
usalimia. Kutakuwa na ma-email,
Why?
manini,
Don't try it, man.
Wakenya,
No, they can leave.
Hashtag itakuwa ready.
Usikia hapo wanatuchezea hapo nini, and hata ya US.
Yeah.
Utashangaa.
Ama ya South Africa.
Utashangaa.
Itaanza tu hivi watu wafanye hivi.
Watoto,
Then uanze.
What?
Well, like, did you hear what I heard? Is it me or
Record
snippet?
Hashtag.
Where is my Mungu?
No.
She occupies, she fonce.
Yeah. Oui.
Ban the Eiffel Tower. We go like, hey.
Where's my Mungu?
Whoa, where's my Mungu? I like that.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Wait, were you actually serious about singing? Like, is it a thing? Like, were you
It's a
actually singer?
thing. It's a thing. It's a
What
thing.
do you
So
do?
what happened? First of all, I was DJ Khaled.
You sound like Barasa.
Yeah, for a second.
Huh?
That's
Oh,
like
Monyos. You know, when I did Kalale, it's very funny. Barack is very funny. So what happened? You know, like how what's his name? Soldier Boy says Drake.
Yeah,
Drake. So back then, you know, and this is just jokes. Nobody start no Otile versus BN. So
See what happened.
he was alikuwa hapo ati, yo, bro, so you did this song without me, man. I was just checking out my boy. And I said, Breeder? He was like, Breeder? Like, bro.
Oh my God.
But I was like, shout out to Breeder, man. Because
Barack is so funny.
Breeder is actually the first person who shouted me out in a song.
Oh, wow.
In the Calicatel 3. It says,
Yes.
nishamaliza 10 over 10, nishaifunga kama Willis. And then out of that rhymes, Calligraph picked it up and said, 10 over 10? Big shout out to Willis Raburu for representing us again and again. I was like, yeah. Uko right, Kali. Me represent. Oh, gee, baby. Yeah, so... so I am actually serious about singing. It's just that I did... That year for Kalale, I actually recorded 3 songs. Okay. I released Kalale, and then I think after
Which was a bomb.
Thank you very much. That was, I think that song, the magic in the song was just the fact that how quickly the turnaround time was from the people, because I remember I sent the beat to Marvel. Marvel created the beat. We sent the beat to Reckless, and they told me, unataka kufanya aje na hii song bazo. Nikaambia, we have fun with it. And I went, because that time I was doing radio on 96. It was at 10 a.m. 10:45. He sent me the verse yake ya kwanza yes. I was like, what? What?
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Na utoe 15 za kupackage na kuna.
Hizo zini kurenda nini.
It's just the demo too.
Like ameanza for hini lazima utama kwa kalenda all the way to Kalale hapo. I was like, oh my God. This is amazing. So I sent it back to my mom. I was like, and then after that I reached out to Breeder. I said, hey Breeder, thank you so much for shouting me out the song. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I told Major, I also want you to be on this song. And then Saru also to be on the song. And then everybody just came to the studio at Marvo's place at different times. And then at one point we were all together listening to the song. And we were like, wow. So now the only things I kept telling them, like, oh yeah, you need to add where because I just like, I need that. And then at that time, he was like, these days because it was a big baba. But back then it was Bazenga. So Bazenga and Saru. I did Saru. I was so happy I did that.
That's fine.
Saru. Yeah. And then it was amazing. Yeah. I loved it. And that was my... You know how they say all these musicians have that one song that that if you don't make it,
yes,
yeah, like ining wimbo ya kulipa rent. Like if you don't make it, I'm out.
Yeah.
So that was that for me. Like,
rent was due
it was more emotional rent. I needed it. I was in such a bad place, so I needed like a pick me up. And I remember when it was supposed to come out. The video was supposed to drop that day at 1 p.m. Then Jay Blessing's computer had an issue.
Oh Lord.
So it's like, but
video was late.
Yeah, the Jay Blessing was like, usijali, unajua. I'm like, nigga. Sorry. Ninajali. So it's the way God works is that it came out, so it looked like it was planned, but it came out concurrently, like almost time at 10 over 10. So it came out like at 9 p.m. By the time we were going to 10 over 10 and I played it on 10 over 10, it had like 45,000 views or something. It was like, it was gone.
Damn.
Because the song drops and then 10 over 10 is sort of the...
Yeah.
That is the entertainment show. That is the show on TV.
Yeah, and then I said, hey, let's go out and watch. Because I remember even when we used to get followers for our Instagram on 10 over 10, I was like, hey, guys, you need to follow this page. You're at 2,000, then I refresh. In Apana to refresh.
Damn.
One show to live at 30,000. The next show, like by the time I was leaving, it was way up there. So Big shout out to Tena Butea.
Then maybe we can talk about then Citizen, since you're already here.
Yeah.
I just want to understand the journey.
I
because-
remiss.
So you were there 13 years.
13 years, man.
So if you joined
2010.
2010
2010, I joined in April 2010 as an intern.
as an intern, how hard was it to join? Because Citizen is the biggest media house at the time, right?
Yes,
in the whole
yes,
country.
yes.
And this is when I'm sure gatekeeping is a big deal because mainstream media is mainstream media. Everyone was watching TV.
Yeah.
So how hard was it to even just get a
Get the
chance to be
internship.
an intern? Yeah.
So I guess even when I was in Moi University back then, they were mostly getting people to do publishing houses. So your Oxford, your Longhorn, that's where people were going. But I was like, I don't want to do that. And I had people used to make fun of me when I used to do Moi University FM. Had like a 5-kilometer radius, and guys like, una waste time yako sasa hapa nani anakusikia campus radio.
I did campus radio as well.
Yeah, it was
KU
great.
Radio,
It's
yeah.
great.
Was that
yeah.
small? 5
That's how I
kilometers?
started.
Yeah, 5 kilometers just around. Na unajua huko sisi tuko huko ndani tuko
Lakini
KC.
mbona nilikuwa
Imagine.
five?
Tuko
Yet
pale
tulikuwa, I
ndani.
think bigger.
Sisi ndo tulikuwa tumeanza. Unajua tulikuwa watu watoto. Tumezoea hata chicken seller. Hiyo area yetu ni ndogo. So it was just starting and that's what we had at the time. And so I knew what media was just by my fantasy because like from when I was 7 years old, I wanted to be on TV. But now, many people came to speak to us about media and it was all flowery. No. Then Alex Chamada came to speak to us and says, when you join media, just know that sometimes shit will hit the fan. Oh, sorry. It will get problematic. And he was like, you won't have a social life, but it's fun because if you have a passion, it becomes you.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's dope. So I took down his number. And then I told him, if you guys have opportunities, maybe you can talk to the people here because here it's mostly because people are just, in publishing. It's publishing and media, but they were more on publishing.
Okay.
So myself and Sihachi, we applied. We applied to be interns. And then now, unfortunately, you would do your exit exam at Moi University before you go out for internship. So we are actually doing an exam that day. And in Nairobi, they were doing interviews for interns. So I was like, damn. So I called, her name was Mercy, my boss at the time, later to be my boss, Mercy. And I was like, Mercy, my name is Willis. I got your number from Chamwada. Like, yeah, I see your name here. Where are you? I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't come for the interview. You're doing exams. She hung up.
Wow.
I called her again. I said, yo, we can come.
Yeah.
We can come to us. And no, I've already, it's going to be unfair to everybody. But I'm like, no, but it's just because we are doing exams. It's not that we didn't come because
we
of
just
anything.
didn't want to come.
So I kept calling her. I started calling her like at 2 and the exam Malaysia at around 1. Nikampigana kata until, we called I think until like 5:30. So she said, okay, sawa, fanya hivi. Where are you now? We're in Eldoret. Akasema, tomorrow, be at Citizen offices at 8. If you come at 7:59, I won't see you. If you come at 8:01, I won't see you. Be there at 8 sharp. Sisi nani? Inside.
Basi over
Shuttle.
Nairobi.
Shuttle tukakuja hapo, tukatokezea stenje, tukashuka, maji, wash the face, go to the place, print the 1-page CV.
Yeah, 1 page. Sasa
Education pekee.
Education on the 5 kilometer radius. Big on the 5 kilometer radius.
So we had that one, and then we also did, we had done a magazine called Eyes and Ears. So we just did that as well. And so we went in, we were expecting like to be, the way you tell us.
You think on a panel.
What is your
whatever.
weakness? So we get to this reception area, and so Mercy has still dreadlocks. Then I think there was still sister thing, but now she has fully fledged, and she has these big eyes that can see into your soul. So that's what we still come out of there. And that time we are still, and then she said, yo, you are the people from my university? Yes. Okay. She sat down. Napo kwa reception. So why is it this? I was like, she just gonna do this right here? Because I'm like, Jesus, okay. So I looked around and then I saw this big board that had all the radio stations. Citizen had like 13 registrations and before, and then now Citizen TV. Then I said, Mercy in my family, I'm the last born and I'm the most loved. And I see here you guys are a family, and I think that if I come to this family, you will love me too.
Wow. I'd say yes.
Exactly.
She didn't look impressed. I said, so do you have anything for me? I know you people don't have much in terms of your CV. So I gave her 1 page, and then I said, so we wrote this magazine there. And she said, okay, you know what? Do this. We'll communicate. If we don't communicate, we have communicated. Wow. And she left.
Don't call us, we'll call you.
Don't call us, we'll call you. That was a Thursday. And then I started on Monday of that week, because I was living with my sister, I got a call and said, come and start.
Oh.
So me and Anders Ihachi, to the end, tukaanza. And then we just kept on doing stories, man. For
So now you start what, as a reporter or
as an intern? Nilikuwa intern.
Yeah. So what does the intern do?
So intern, first of all, you shadow reporters.
Okay.
So wakienda field now, wakiandika, you write down the time codes for them. Back then there were tapes. You write down the time codes. You watch them how they script. You see the final product on TV. To see you get to practice on lunchtime news. But first, you see your voice has to be approved. And I remember I was at K24 the year before that, and
For another internship?
For an internship. And they told me that the boss there told me that my voice is not for TV. I'll never be on TV.
What?
And actually, that's when I met Jeff Koinange, because he was doing Capital Talk on the bench at K24. That's where he was.
I love your impression.
Bro, I was thinking you have to do impressions with Willie Paul.
With who?
Willie Paul also did impressions.
Oh, Willie Paul, yes, he did.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, impressions.
unajua wacha niwaambie mimi watu wananichukia tu.
Anyway, carry on.
So when we got there, this person, Jeff, used to sit next to this guy. And he every time would say, bring your voice, put it in the system. I said, I can't access the system. He says, put it in a CD. Back then, I put it in a CD. Comes out, hata kume machine yangu haina CD. Inaenda. Comes back and says, put it in a flash disk. Hii flash disk yako kana virus. Did that every day for about 2 weeks. He's not even listening to it. And then finally came and said, oh no, I had it in the system and you can't make it. I'm like, so what do you mean? He's like, no, you can't make it. Your voice, you're not cut out for TV. I don't think you'll ever be on TV. And I was distraught. I was heartbroken. Then that lunchtime, when I was going back, because it was at Uko Long, is it Long?
Long where the station is now.
Yeah. Road.
I was there and we were going up the elevator and it opened, ding! And then I saw Jeff Koinange, all with his oiled hair. I was like, hey brother, how you doing? I'm like, I'm okay. First of all, you talking to me? You call me brother? Oh, snap. You shook my hand? I'm like, oh. So, they're like, you know what? I heard what that man said. I heard what he said. But don't you worry, man. One day, everybody's going to know your name. Everybody will know your way. Don't give up. Don't give up. Everybody will know your name.
That's beautiful.
I was like,
Jeff told you that?
yeah, at the elevator. And I was like, wow. I didn't hug him. But I was like, mimi kama Jeff ameniambia.
It's over.
Yo, because if God talks to you, see, sometimes another to me voice of Jeff. So I was like, hey, there you go.
But that's majestic though.
Yeah. And I've never forgotten. I remind him all the time. Jeff anyway, he's been very instrumental a lot in my journey. Even after when I joined at M-PESA, I knew when he was still at KTN, and I wanted to see, so I was approached to join NTV, and I asked him, and he walked me through what the process is and what they'll tell you, what they'll offer you, what you should ask for, and all of that. And that time, I remember I met him when Megona was doing peeling back the mask. Yeah, when we peel back the mask, when I was held in Comunicado. So that's then. And he's been there all through. And so, for me, I started as an intern and you shadow people and I would feel so bad because unaenda umefanya story and then you couldn't do a 9 p.m. story because it was not for interns. Nyinyi muna practice at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Then you don't do voice, piece to cameras for your stories, right? So, but I broke all the rules because when I used to talk to Hussein Mohammed, Johnson Wakazi, Michael Njeng, and asked them, hey, what do you got to do? And most of them would just tell me, just be yourself, just push extra, try to do something that will make you stand out. And I was like, okay, so if these are the rules, obviously if I break them, I'll stand out, right? And it's not like I'm breaking them, kufanya kitu mbaya. I'm just furthering myself. Because these people here probably broke some rules. Definitely. So I used to, hata nikituma wapi, hizo stories za 1 o'clock, nafanya piece to camera. Wanakutana nayo hewani. Hey! Okay, wananyamaza. Then one time, again, interns are not allowed to travel out of the place to do a story. So I traveled to do a story called Rite of Passage for the Maasai. The whole drinking blood thing, went and packaged that story. And I think that was my breakthrough story because after that, people spoke about it in the newsroom. And then one day, the boss put upon was like, you see, like this boy called Willis. And I was nilikuwa backbencher, high school, class, everywhere. Nilikuwa nakaa huko nyuma. So that boy called Willis, a very good story. Yeah, sisi ni watu wa nyuma. So alikuwa anasema, hey, this boy called Willis, we're going to give him a job. I was like, what? Yeah, and they asked me to stay on after the internship. I did an interview, and my letter says October 1st, 2010. October 1st, 2010. That's when I signed. Officially.
Yeah. So as an intern, were you getting paid or no?
No, I wasn't getting paid.
But now you get a contract that has a salary.
Yes, now you have a salary that, it wasn't much at the time. But at least
Yeah, it was something.
niko na and the Washiro Waruru taught me one thing. It says never take for granted the fact that you get a platform anywhere to say your name. You see how like when you start off the show you say your names and it's on the platform. Never take that for granted because not everybody has that to say your name somewhere, to tell people I am that. And you're telling an audience, not just what when you mind. Yeah, my neighbor, me naitwa Willis.
Oh boy.
Never take for granted a platform.
Facts.
And that's what I guess I just did. And I just kept learning and learning and learning. Even from Hussein, well, he's different now. But even from Hussein, I mean, he taught me a lot in just like, even when I wanted to venture into anchoring. Because I used to tell my mom one day I'll be on TV and I'll anchor the news. And so when I was anchoring, he was like, I asked him, what do I do? He asked me, do you like what I do? I said, yeah, sure, I love what you do. You're great. He's like, cool. Do you like what Michael Njenga does? Because I see you talk to him. Yes. Do you like what Johnson Mokazi, what he does? I beg your pardon, what he does? I'm like, yeah, sure, I love what all these people do. Yeah, but you see, they are themselves. So just be yourself. Don't try to. I used to wonder why, when I got in that time in media, watu walikuwa naimba. Like they report the news and they're singing. I was like, what's going on? Na hapo tulipona. Alikuja. A friend of mine called Duncan Hemba. Shout out Duncan. Me enjoy sana.
Shout out Duncan Hemba, man.
Yeah, me enjoy sana because there's a day we were doing a food shortage story. And he said that tulienda kwa soko, tukapata kitunguu, viazi, pamoja na nyanya. So tukamuliza nyanya. What's nyanya? Do you go around saying nipatie nyanya? Just say nipatie nyanya. So for me, I really, and Masi taught me as well, just be conversational. So that's how I was doing the news. And then I realized in news, it's very strict. Like you make a mistake, like, oh, I beg your pardon, I'm sorry. Me, nilikuwa nafanya hata mistake na Cheque. I was trying to make it a bit lively,
Yeah.
But
human, the human
and in campus, I used to do shows. I used to do comedy shows in campus. I used to call it Wayne Live. My middle name is Wayne, and charge people 30 bob entrance.
Really? Like stand up?
Yeah, stand up. Me, and it was a whole Churchill formula too.
Consider the impressions.
I actually did have a alter ego called Penina. Like old Madina.
Penina.
Used to dress up out there, like a lady and say Penina with an eye. It was quite.
That's why.
Wow. And you actually write the jokes and go perform?
Yeah. I would try. And I remember the biggest thing that was a shock for me in my university at the time, which was my opening, I remember was that, people, whenever you go to poop, lazima upandie yo water closet. Yo, unapandia the white throne. Ukai kwa throne, unapandia. Alafu mlango iko mbali.
Ku G5.
Yeah, una G5. So you drop, and you don't have tissue, you can't get your butt. So you have to drop in.
Drop it back.
And everybody related to it. And it was so great and funny and people had fun and they were paying only 30
shillings.
30 bob peke yake. So I always knew that I can't just be doing news. In news, wamenifunga hivi bana. So what's going on with that? So finally, Citizen did a poll and when they did the poll, more people over 35 are watching them. And that means that over the past 10 years, these people started at 25. And so they needed a show that speaks to the young. So they came to me, Joey, Alex, Murungi, and we sat around and we...
Was Joey at Rollmead at the time?
Yeah, she was at Rollmead, Joey Mudengi. She was at Hot 96 at the time. She had started TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we did our first meeting. Then we thought, why don't we then go and get just random people, literally pick people from the street and just say to buy a lunch. Young people, street, campus, nini. And we did like a focus group. What would you want to see on TV? What more do you want to see? And they told us the aspects they want to see. And they were like, you know what? The only thing that would be different for this show is if we do a live audience. That's what's not being done. Let's do that. So that's how 10 over 10 was born. And we thought that it's going to be... And Washiro Waruru, the MD, has this thing where you just... And it stayed with me up to now. Just start. Because, we're thinking, I will do a promo.
Hype it.
On Wednesday, I told me, are you guys ready with this thing? Like, no, yeah, so we want to do a promo for the next 2 weeks. I said, no, start on Friday. You're like, what? Yeah. Find out what it needs to be done. Pigia my artist simu.
Is the studio even ready at this point?
We were doing it outside. We built a studio, a sort of a set outside with the screens and everything. I remember we had it, that time, Daniel Tukama Mat was popular, so we had Christoph come with mats from I think it wasn't Matwana at the time. Was it Matwana? But yeah, they came through. And Akode was also there. So I remember Akode and Christoph were like the first people who came through. Yeah, and from then it just, we got, of course, the flack because, again, people are learning. I say, man, even today, if you are a man, and you see nyashi go, nyashi. Si unasikia unaweza zoom. Sasa imagine kama uko na camera, uko na hiyo ability to zoom. So ukiona you're like, wow. So people are like, he show us it's just diab. Nyashi go, nyashi. You have a nyash. And you have a nyash. You have a nyash. And everybody, because it was also exciting, it was new. And I guess what it gave to the Media Council, the Communication Authority, is that they didn't know what to do with this thing. So we had a lot of flack, and Dr. Ezekiel Pia alikuwa anatuingilia using us to get points as usual. But we survived because it was watershed. It was past 10. We were covered by the law.
Yeah.
So, but of course, it's also a family station. So we learned a lot. And just that the director also has quite the job to do because sawa ndo huyu camera 3 amekupatia nyash, lakini finya enda kwa wide. Tusione hapa kwa Facebook. Don't want to we ain't at that place. So it's a learning. It was amazing.
How did the name come about?
10 over 10? Yeah. So we had a list of 4 names, and I think we took it to coach to pick, but we had said the one we prefer is 10 over 10. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Then we went to a guy called Mapose, who made the whole graphics and everything. And I think, is it Miss Yorks or somebody who made the jingle? I'm not sure, but one of them, I think, made the jingle for 10 over 10. And
the show was flighted.
It's cool.
But what an instrumental role that show played with the Gengeton.
Yeah, man.
Wow, like you guys. Even when these kids were getting crucified. This is the platform where I think any big song that dropped that was Gengeton, you'd be dropped on the show.
Fuck.
Yeah. And the thing for me, when we hosted the first set of people, I think it was it was Sailors. Of course, Lamba Lolo. And so when you realize that, first of all, when I looked at them, I'm like, these are actually kids, 1. 2, before they go on set, they're excited calling their parents. Mami, utaniona, And then they go on set and they come back and their parents call them like, I've seen you. I'm so proud of you. So you see, it's different for them, it means so much. Yeah. First of all, even just being there. And then they're still also dealing with, now I'm walking down the street and people recognize me. And now I used to get 1,000 bob and that was something. Now I can get a gig and be paid 40,000. Like, whoa, isn't it Tao 40? Yeah. So like, it was interesting to see them learn through that, go through the phase of, unajua mimi ni celeb, unajua mimi kuna 2 million views, usiniite tu hivyo to now learning again that, okay, it's also learning that, si song moja tu, like we need to be constantly making music and watching our behavior. So they literally grew up like before our eyes. But I was not going to deny them a platform. And even back then, I used to say, and I still say, anything that you're given, especially mainstream media, people still used to use 10 over 10 to charge people. They used to, what to do, wanasema, unataka na 10 over 10? Nilipe, alafu nitakupeleka. But it's free. Platform, first of all, the platform was not mine. It was it's Citizen TV. So I've been given it to me.
So this is like
it's given to me free.
People in the PR industry.
Yes, yeah. No. Just people, crooks to my Facebook. They open their page 10 over 10. They say, kuenda 10 over 10. Then probably they know somebody. Like so, 10, when they're calling our producer, the producer doesn't know that person has been charged. The only time they find out is, let's say, they tell this guy, utaimba song 3. Then sisi juu ya time, tunaimba 1 song. Then they come, wewe mbona tufanya hivi na tulilipa? What you talking about, mulilipa? So now that's how we started finding out. We used to do disclaimers on the show. But if the platform is free, and these kids, and if sisi wenyewe, people are talking bad about us and we are still on air, then these other people also deserve a chance. And that's why I kept giving them chances to come and come. Yeah.
Any key highlights at Royal Media? Because 13 years is a long time. I still remember Truth Nita.
Yes, I love
remember the interview with the current president now. That's an old one.
Which one? Oh,
you and Ruto.
Yes, I did an interview
with Ruto.
I did an interview with the president when he was president in the Americas, Uhuru Kenyatta. Because I remember most people think that now that I do all this stuff, they don't know. Like there's a time somebody tried to kunibash up. I think I was teasing 10 over 10. And they're like, wewe watu wanaita vya president na wewe unafanya tu unacheka tu na watoto. Nikamweka hiyo clip ngome, excuse me sir, been there done that. Yeah.
Check the records.
Just check the records. Kuna evidence kwa karatasi. Kuna evidence kwa karatasi, So because I've done features, I've been to Somalia when Operation Lindainchi was there, went through that whole process. We were shot at, we were sleeping huko kwa maandaki. with the soldiers who in the front line. I mean, I've covered so many conflict areas. South Sudan, we were there. Went to Rwanda, to the US. I mean, did Truth Meter, anchored news, did political stories because one of the dreams of my boss was to make me a political reporter. So there's a time I was purely doing political stories. Yeah, I did human interest stories and features, won awards on that front. So I just think I just
Radio.
I did radio. Actually, there's a time when my
10
schedule
over
was
10.
crazy because I used to wake up, do TV in the morning at 6 to 9, take a break, go and do radio at 10 to 1, read news at 1 sometimes, and then go back and do, if it was a Friday, go back and do radio 3 to 7, and then do 10 over 10. Then come back the next day and do news lunchtime over the weekend. There's a day I worked, I think the longest I've ever worked was I worked 42 days back to back until they were like, "Oi! Sasa,
You need a break.
you need a break.
Equally.
You can't be doing everything." But I was like, Dr. Miles Monroe said that thing for he wants people to die empty. Have if you can do something,
Do it.
do it.
Yeah.
By all means. So I wanted to check every box I can in media. The only thing I haven't done is 9 o'clock news. And that was actually the reason why I also switched to 10 over 10. Mainly because I was like, first I've done news at 1, but I don't want to now graduate to 9. Then now my process becomes like linear towards, you know, 9 o'clock, alafu international.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think I want to do that because then that keeps me in a box. And also at that time, Citizen had their starting 11.
Yeah.
By the time wanikumbuke mimi, ati sasa nisome news.
Tough.
Surely kuna Jeff, kuna Lilian, kuna Ankiguta at the time, Hussein at the time, Jared Bugwa. Surely.
Hey.
By the time wapita watu wote, ati, na wili sako ni kama Daudi. Ule David, don't you have another son? No, he's out there tending the ng'ombe. He's with the lambs and nini. So I just said, if I switch to this side, it was just Larry and Amina. So this side, I could easily be top 3. Huku, hata 11, hata number.
Competition tough.
Gotire na abba. So I was like, okay, let me go this other side and because I love doing it, let me make it do what it does. So my highlights are Somalia, those interviews, and of course, 10 over 10.
10 over 10.
10 over 10 was, you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
When did you know it was time to leave?
I probably knew like 3 or 4 years before that.
Okay.
And I struggled with it a lot. One, because I was doing a lot. And I always said, even when I joined, I told my boss before she left Farida Karone, I told the boss, she used to ask me, hey, don't you get tired? I'm like, when I do start getting tired, you'll know. Then I'll know. Like, so I started getting tired a bit and getting frustrated kidogo.
And when you say tired, like tired in what?
Tired in terms of like one, it's now I'm used to doing it. And then 2, it's actually like not talk. Yeah, like, whoo, I need to,
Yeah.
next
doing
kids
many
and stuff,
things.
I need to do other things. It doesn't, because me, I was immersed inside the bubble. And that's normally where sometimes, that's why people get egos and stuff, because you're in a bubble where nikitoka hapa, hey, cameraman anakwambia, but hiyo stuff ilikuwa, uko sawa. Ukitoka pale cleaner, hey, uko sawa. So in your bubble, you're the king. But uko inje, you're like,
So it's whatever.
You see the way we crucify people for their interviews now? That before, like you don't hear it a lot.
Yeah.
Unless nowadays you can scroll online.
Yeah.
But if not, so I just started getting tired. And then also, I needed more pay. I felt like I was doing a lot. I was bringing in a lot and I needed more. And that's something that I think even today mainstream media will deal with. It's a challenge they'll have to go through because you're having more of talent and content creators coming up and brands wanting to partner with these people and not come to you direct.
Yeah.
So then there'll be a conflict there. Yeah. So I figured, you know what? It's time. By then, I was literally in my car at the parking lot and I just thought to myself, you know what? I think I've done everything I need to do here. And plus, I'm a big believer in leaving the stage for other people as well. Even with Wabebe experience, I'll do it for a while and then Claudia, Gogo, whoever can take over. I'm not going to do it forever. So I was just like, boy, guy more than he. But it was so hard. Like I carried that decision every day. And sometimes I would actually go in feeling tired, but when I leave 10 over 10, the adrenaline and the
I feel energized.
This is where I need to be. I'm doing great.
You could see the love in the live audience.
Yes, and even just the love from the people and even the artists. Thank you so much. Man, this is a great platform. Thank you for giving me this platform. yo, look, I came here and my song, I had only 1,000 views. I'm leaving, it has 6,000. Wow, thank you. You know, I had these followers, now it's grown. Ama nimeitwa gig sasa, juu niliperform hapa. Like those things, they used to keep me going. They used to keep me going. But then, after a while, I was just like, introduces.
Were they
3 years
open
that
to
you just started with this decision?
Yeah. I just started
then
with it.
Before you were like, sour.
Yeah, then I was like, all right,
Today's the day.
it's time. Yeah, today is the day. I literally just walked in one day and I was like, hapana. The grace is shifting. And then also, when you're tired, then you also don't want to start spoiling your reputation, your legacy, because they knew me as a hard worker and everything. So I didn't want to start sasa rubbing heads with the bosses and because I feel this and that and because I know you're not remunerating me well and I need this and I feel I deserve this. So wacha tu niwaachie. Yeah, let me just chill. When utoke kama a good dancer, PLO says, knows when to leave the stage.
True.
So there's no money convo?
No, there was a money convo, but also now, so it's been 3 years. So by the time nimebeba money convo, 3 years.
Umechoka pia hata kwa
Yeah.
the same conversation.
So nikitaka kuenda ndo nataka kuniongezea. No.
Be like that.
But I would say that over the years, though, remember nilianza mbali. Nilianza, I think my first salary, ilikuwa 30.
30K.
Ulianza poa.
Nilianza huko 30.
Intern 30 2010.
No, intern.
No, the first contract October
2010, yeah.
I take it back.
So it grew.
Ukachoka kama ni ngapi?
Mingi. Nikisema hiyo niko na NDA. Nikisema hiyo watu wenye wako sahi wanazosikia vibaya. Juu ilikuwa mingi.
But times have changed. Because genuinely speaking, I don't think real media makes the same amount of money as at the time. Because now companies are splitting between digital.
Exactly. I don't think anybody. I know like companies, big companies nowadays have made a deliberate decision that 60% of the budget is going to digital. Then 40 now goes to
mainstream. So they don't make as
so they're
much
not making
money
as
anymore,
much money as they used to. And then also the people that they are paying are making extra money.
Yes, on the side.
Yeah, because you have people who are doing brand ambassadors
And stuff.
So now what people need to deal with now is that how can I then incentivize Willis or Brian or anybody to then client akikuja kwako simwambie pia akuja huku tutampatia discount ama deal but sasa vita ikikuwa wasikuja kwako walete hapa mbona wanakuja kwako so anything that is new normally face that first resistance. So the first one was why are they coming to you? It is against policy for them to come to you. But then utaambia mtu clear mbodosi hata ingekuwa wewe upewe mita moja hapa which is how many times my salary. So nikikita deal bus put the 1 million in my
pocket then.
So then like okay you know. Yeah, so and also like if I take this 1 million leo nikifuta kazi I got about a few months kujipanga then niendelee. But so now that's where legacy media as they call it and mainstream are having to struggle now with this, but they're also adapting. You see a lot of them now on their social pages doing their own version of explainers and doing stuff and selling digital as a product. And so that's great.
So then Nairobi Festival, ama TV47, which one comes first after you leave?
Nairobi Festival.
Nairobi Festival,
yes.
So you are like chairman of the festival?
Oh yeah, first I did Battle of the Choirs. I was part of the committee there. Then I did...
And she was hosting. Have you been paid?
Yeah.
Okay, eventually. Finally. When are you paid?
I picked my check last week on Friday.
That's what I was going to say.
And this is for last week Nairobi Festival?
Bruh.
Last year.
December.
And I did Battle of the Choirs again in April. You just do it in Galin.
Yeah.
Hiyo ngojea tu utakula Christmas.
So there was that Battle of the Choirs. Then we did Nairobi Festival as a committee member. Then I became the chairman of it. Yeah. So, county is something else.
Because in a statement, you are very clear that what you needed is systemic changes.
Yes.
That can enable the people who work there to actually deliver on what they're supposed to do.
Because you see, the thing is this, and this is one of the problems I think is we have in this country, is that we change the top, but we don't change the structures down in the system. So you could be the best governor, but ule ka ofisi ya procurement pale
Makiamo kukumesi ni hivyo.
Na amekuanga hapo for years.
That's a permanent.
Ako na kifungu.
Na ya kuelected.
That's a permanent.
Unakuja hapo unaambia, nani amekutuma? Hii ni wabosi. Sawa. Sasa huku tuangalie hii nini yako ni. Ulisema ulifanya kazi lini? hata sikuoni kwa hii file, si ukuje kesho. So it's a systemic thing. And some of these things, it's years. Like people atakwambia, there's a time I was chasing a payment, nikamwambia, unajua watu siku ya diku wathika, bado kuna watu hawajalipo hadi leo.
And that's something to brag about.
I mean, so it's something that many governors and governments have to deal with. The systemic rot in there where you think you're running the show, but really, because you can't, again, as the top, and I'm not saying they're absolutely powerless, because again, you can also find a system that's bent and then you like it that way because it still benefits you.
You benefit.
Yeah?
You profit from it.
Yeah, you profit from it as well. So, but if you find that you have this problem, kwa system, and it swallows you up more than you can change it. You know, people say, ingia kwa system, you change it from the inside. But unasikia pale, it will take a while. Because you can, for example, these new people who have been switched, utapata Duale, ameenda sasa anapanda miti, instead ya kuchunga nini. You know, all these mixes, you see, the top has changed.
Yeah.
But
everyone else
is the same. So if there was...
The cleaner is the same.
The cleaner is the same. In fact, there's a
Office
story
is the
about
same.
a minister who once told me that he was trying... This time when Uhuru announced his austerity measures and they were like, hata magazeti sijui zinawachwa, nini, we only get like 3 papers, you kwa library. He said he walked in, he was leaving the office late one evening, and he met this cleaner, who alikuwa pale na clean tu. Akasema, waziri, hiyo kitu yako ya gazeti, sijui kama itafanya kazi. Ati mbona? Unajua, hapa vitu zinaendanga different. So wewe, enda tuulize, hii tenda ya gazeti inakwanga ya nani? I ended up finding out that the tender was such a powerful guy in government. Of gazeti, watu walikuwa na kama 8-9 mic a month.
Kusupply gazeti.
Then umesema sasa, going forward, hii pesa itaingia sasa.
Yes, so the announcement has been made by the president, but implementing it at the system level, it's not working. And then you can't go announce because you don't know what's the connect. Anaweza kuwa hata amenannounce yeye president na uni mtu wake. So you don't really know. You operate in a lacuna. So you're wondering what's going on. So I think it's going to take some time, but we are in the right direction definitely in terms of...
So it's heartbreaking to see even the video for Dr. Kingori where guys are using public funds to invest in CG.
Yeah,
because of the delayed payments.
With Gorsemelango.
Yeah, 6 billion in Eko personal account. Yeah. And then they collect the interest, then they return it back to the system.
So that happens. That happens a lot. And also even just proxies. Yeah. You know, like how there's a time we were told the person who owns the building, anti-corruption, is some janitors, Junior Eldoret, his own junior. And there's a time somebody tried to buy KICC.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, like what's going on?
What do you mean?
Like what do you mean? So, you know, like you find out these things happening and you're like, hey, like that person asked, kwani tuko nchi ingine? You know, and it's deep. Like before you unpack it, it's not hopeless, but it's definitely going to take some time. But now I like this whole salimiering business because then people are it's not as brazen as it was before. Like, I mean, guys, how do you explain somebody who earns like 180, like a CEC, who earns like maybe 180, I think 150, 180K, and when you see their accounts has been frozen with 544 million.
How?
Yeah.
How did you get
$500 million?
there? Yeah, that's actually And then in that same place where that's being happened, that county where it's happened, there's no medicine in hospitals.
Yeah, it's insane.
So you almost become numb. And that's why for me I was like, hey, it's wachani.
You saw what happens there. Like, hey, I'm not going to be part of this.
Yeah, let me just take a breather and no offense. Walinikasirikia, of course. Big man sucks and everybody, but I was like, you know,
it is what it is. Yeah, but that speaks to your value system, which is something we've been speaking about a lot. Because any other person, as long as they're profiting themselves, they'll just stick around, see what I can do. Yeah. Which speaks also to the thing we say, like all the Kenyans as a general, we know what our problems are. Mm-hmm. But the main issue for the longest time is everyone just wants to work so hard so that the problems don't apply to them and people that they care about.
Yes.
So the use of value systems, not everyone has that.
And it's difficult. You know, I always give this example because 2 things happen. Yes, it's difficult because it's a systemic problem. It's also difficult because you're human. And not as an excuse, but think about it this way. Right now, as we're seated here, we know exactly how much it would take for our lives to be better. If we have a loan, if we have a dream house, we know the amount of our dream house. Maybe it's maybe it's 20 million. And then you have a loan of 5 million, right? And then for your children to go to school, it's another 5 million. So you're at 30 right now. Then somebody tells you, miscellaneous, something you can sign off for and you won't be asked a question. You can do that 30 million in a week. So what happens? You take it one time.
Second
You look around, nobody asks you. You take it another time. Nobody's asking me. By the time you're at week 4, you're at 120.
Dude.
Clean cash and nobody's asking you nothing. Hakuna mtu amekuuliza swali. So you really have to be really a strong person first so that doesn't change. Because in your mind now, your value system changes and you tell yourself, I'm doing this for my children. Like if I don't do this, these guys won't be secure. Then you say, okay, so first it's for the children. Then you realize, naweza shikwa. So let me get an extra 100,000 so that I can work my way through the system. Polisi akuja nimpatie yake, judge akule yake, nani akule yake, hivyo. But now, after a while, you become arrogant. That's why you don the 4 million belt, you don the 17 million watch, you don all these things. So you are like,
untouchable.
And the question, do you know who I am? Is not really because of your office, but the amount
you have in your account.
Because you can buy your way around things.
Exactly. So now that is normal. That is what I think is the problem. You need to really, and then you find a country where people want to become politicians, not to serve people, but
themselves.
to get rich. So then
it's the quickest way to get rich.
way. I mean, look at it. 20 months, net worth yako imejaa.
Imepanda na 200 million.
Do you know what that thing?
What that 200 million ni how much?
That is ridiculous.
And you're chasing a job that will pay you $1 million a month.
$1 million a month.
Which is 12 million
but it's
a year. And that is assuming you don't have
but it's now
loans and career.
That's what you're saying. You don't want the job. You want the opportunity the job will give you to milk again.
Yeah. And then like somebody was trying to explain to me, I don't know if it's true, maybe somebody can tell us, but there's actually a way in government, if you actually bring business to government, you're supposed to be entitled to 20%, I think. I don't know if that rule still applies. So if you get government a job of 1B, unakula 200 mic yako hapo, ama uko clean, no, like actual PPP stuff. So there's a proper way to do it. Without even saying, nipatie kickbacks, anwani, sijui nani, tuuze JKA, sijui tufanye nini. Like, there's an actual proper way to do it if that law still stands. And even if it doesn't, you are not supposed to. Like, these things...
Regardless,
these things are for... And then remember, he told me, unapewa, uko na gari, uko na bodyguard, uko na...
Grants.
So really... The government, or rather the people, because we pay taxes, we're making sure you're comfortable enough to think about policy and how you're going to change our lives. But you are using that to enrich yourself because there is no way. And and this is what the other thing is, by the time somebody is telling you that, I don't believe half of those figures.
Period, me too.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Hiyo lazima times hata na times 3 ama
definitely.
Yep. Because they knew that if I say this, nitakuwa nimeongeza na 200. 200 si mbaya. It makes sense. In 20 months, 200. Okay, 10 million a month. Okay, so. Yeah, and then if you ask how, I know good business. What business?
What do you mean?
Me kwanza, I want to see the audited accounts.
Yeah.
I want to see how much taxes they
Taxes.
file.
That's exactly what I said.
That's a good way to
check what's up. Yeah, so that's just the system we're in, and we hope
Has
that
Joho's happened yet?
No.
That one I just want to see. Kwanza hapo kwa CV, it will be very brief.
How much do you think he's worth? No, but he went back to school,
that
remember?
That nigga is rolling in dough.
Remember, he went back to school. He's been in school. I think he even has a master's now.
Right.
Without a previous...
Who knows?
He had a degree.
He didn't have a degree?
Nigga. Uko na master's bila degree.
I remember hakuwa unless sasa ameenda kasoma akafanya.
No, but Juicy on Citizen, they were talking about his...
I remember when
that was the funniest thing I've seen.
Some Gituku held themselves like... Previous qualification?
Former governor.
I feel like they know. So even I think for him, he definitely knew there's a way he'll get back in government. I think that's why he went to school.
But that's the third thing though, with that thing, even as we talk about it, is that what you're basically telling the country is that people died and we went to the streets so that Kina Joho get a job.
Yeah, long shot.
Like literally.
And they knew this from
time. Of course they knew, bro. Of course they knew.
That's what you're saying. And then knowing, having studied a lot about propaganda and stuff, this is, again, it's not something that they knew today.
Yeah, they've been
knowing. Like, we are going to do this. Just, okay, so ile plan ya, ilikuwa happen end of this year,
Gojeni
tunataka kutoa Gashago ama there must be some more. We think about, because in this country, the way it works is that you basically work the first 2 years. Then the next, the 3 to election, you're starting to plan. Then the last 2,
campaigns.
they campaign. Yeah, so so they knew. They you cannot say
crazy.
that.
No, they knew.
What
And-
figure do you think it looks like? Joho.
Joe.
Teko in the B.
Mali ni nyingi nyumbani.
Amwambia papa yo. Vipi? Hiyo ni ukweli. Mali nani nyingi
Yeah, that's
nyumbani?
what he's gonna say.
Because tukisema tutumie tu gari zake tu zile tumeona.
That is so much fortune.
Urus,
The
Ferrari,
Bro.
Bentley. Hizo ni 30.
Yeah, G-Wagon.
Tuko meter.
Ah.
100
Hiyo ni one
plus.
tuko 120
G-Wagon.
already. G-Wagon hiyo ni 40. Ama 60 depending on when you bought it.
Porsche.
You're already at 200. Gari peke yake.
Gari peke.
Even more.
Si ndio? Hatujana ile nyumba
This nigga
yake.
is rolling
If you do
in money.
houses here and abroad.
Thank you.
Tuko 1B.
Unless aseme basi nyumba ziko kwenye family trust.
Ah,
But gari peke yake already tusha cross threshold.
thank you.
Ya huyu mjamaa mwenye pia ana gari lakini ako na pesa mingi.
Akona pesa. And then my thing was, it feels like the qualification to be a cabinet secretary is just to have a lot of money. Because all of them, how come all of them are that rich?
Because how will you help the president mobilize?
Honestly.
Kwa ground. Lazima watu
Nilikuwa
wakuwe
sikia tu
kwa
ma
ground.
400,
Sababishe.
500.
Mimi mtu akisema guy, mimi hata nikurizwa net worthy. Yeah, but it's and I think though, now that you're on that point, I think the president lost the opportunity to. You see this thing for we listen, and I want to tell Kenyans we listen.
Tuta.
Tutatenga na tumepanga na tutafanya. I think
Tuta. Always.
tuta. Eh.
Na tume.
Ngeli ya tume, ngeli ya tuta.
Tume. I think he missed such an opportunity, and him, his communication team, his PR team, and everybody missed an opportunity because. And it's just that brazenness that I guess it's sad because he could have, as the president, not antagonized people by announcing the people who are coming back. He would have come back and said, these are the first 5, the new guys. So that at least what was him, okay, I'm at Skia. Buy himself some 2 more weeks, consult some more, then come back. Even if he was initially going to put them, wacha ikuwe list ya mwisho huko. Yani week 2, asema,
Yani
Ali- na alianza na
I'm like,
Biki, number 1. I
And then
said,
Duale
what?
said, but you see, that's
And Duale.
defense. But you see, that's the thing. Like, even your time your protest, all the speeches he made, when you start looking back, he knew
He knew where he's going.
He knew exactly where he's going.
Yeah.
You know, even saying the criminal so that he knows, so that he can use excessive force to say it. Like he knew the whole thing.
Yeah, it was
Everything
a
was planned
script.
out.
I mean,
Yeah.
Do you think he just doesn't listen? Because his head of comms is not.
He listens, he
for
doesn't
sure.
care. He listens, he doesn't care.
So he's now internally. Like when Mohammed tells him this is the best way to
who
go.
said he pays advisors and he doesn't take advisors from the advisors because he still advises himself?
he advises himself.
Yeah.
I think,
Same thing as he'll hire the entire cabinet, but he'll run everything from
But-
state
and
house.
it's very funny though that you said, because John Badi, who now has been
Of all the people,
put to Treasury, right?
yeah, treasury.
You look at it and you realize that back then, what happened? He was the one who stood there and said, looking at this list of CSs, there's a video from Parliament
know,
where it says
I've seen the video.
they're incompetent. And in fact, he said only 2 people.
Yeah.
And then he said, what the message the president is giving us that he's going to run the affairs of this country from State House. So even if we push this thing and we pass it, because we will, parity of numbers and whatnot, this guy is telling us that he's running this
By
thing from.
himself, yeah.
Then he comes and he's now on there.
There, and you're there ready to
imagine.
take that
And
seat.
and
Like,
if you look
what?
at the way things, if you look at the way things are, if you look at it now in a political kind of way, if you look at, he's been, normally when people are wanagawa, which is not supposed to be the case, you always look at who gets treasury, who gets devolution, who gets security,
Defense.
who gets defense, agriculture. Those are
the main
Very
energy.
important,
Those are the
yeah.
plumbers. This time, all the probably major ones have been given to
The opposition.
the opposition,
yeah.
right? And then, which is
Sounds like a trap to me if you ask
which
me.
is crazy because then mulikuwa mnataka hiki
Of
tu
course it is.
chukueni
Sounds like a trap to
msipofanya
me.
niliwapatia chance.
Yeah.
Number 1, number 2,
When
it
you're
could
the
be
ones to
again.
catch the flag.
Yeah, it could be again reorganization for 2027. Maybe ameona atawachana na the honest man wa Murima. Anataka kuingia the western
So
side.
Pentagon might
So
be making
give-
a comeback.
make comeback, yeah.
Or you kill it because you know that these guys could come against me huko mbele. So wacha niwa
One time, shut you down before you
tukufe
start.
sisi wote.
Yeah.
Kufa dereva kufa. So it's just now the challenge with playing political ping pong is that it's the people that are suffering.
True.
Yeah.
And that's the sad reality in this country is that because the people around him, those are not dumb people. Mugonyi, who's now at CA, Hussein Muhammad,
Those are smart
those are people who, even with the interview, let me tell you, even with the interview he did when you
The
start,
round table.
with the Latif, Ageo, and
Okay.
Kai, you know, okay, that these people, first of all, these three people, they are
Brainards.
they are pretty tough on you.
Yeah.
That's number one. So you know the way, and anybody who has done media and PR will tell you the first question is always the question that is going to
Set the pace of the
Prime
whole-
example,
yeah.
BBC Stephen Sakara is interviewing the then Deputy President Uhuru Kenyatta, asks him, Deputy President, you've said, because of the ICC and because of post-election violence, you've said you've been to hell and back. What makes you think you're back? Question one. Finished. The Al Jazeera guy asked the president, the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, 3 times you've run, 3 times you've lost. Why aren't you getting the message from Kenyans that they don't want you? Question one. So you know that...
Discombobulate.
Yeah.
And you have now Hussein, who himself was always asking you the tough questions.
Yeah.
Hussein and Ruto, those are my favorite.
Those are the favorite
Me
interviews,
too.
right?
Ever.
And so now, of course, Atakwambia, the first question is going. You always normally say who's going to ask the first question because you're 3 media houses. Then you tell you Linus. Linus, who you also know, you say yourself in the interview, Linus hata wewe unipenda.
Yeah,
Hujainipenda. So you know he's going to ask you a tough question, and you know the country is aching. You know what he would have done? That first question, Aulizwe, Ruto must go. It would have been so easier if he said, you know what? Even before I answer your question, first of all, let me condole with the people who have lost their lives. And also, to answer your question, when people say Ruto must go, at some point this week, because of that child who was shot, I also thought maybe I should go. But because I know that when somebody falls and makes a mistake, you can get back up, I want to get back up. And the way I'll get back up is I'll make sure that the perpetrators of this thing will be brought to justice and to book. Boom. What other question do they have for you? That's the interview. That's what you should have done.
Yeah.
That's it. Even if you are PRing it, even if you don't mean it, for the country to cool down,
That's what you should have said.
you just say that. And then sasa tunaendelea from there. Now the questions become, even the interviewers realize, this guy is not on defense mode anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what to do. Now it's upon them to reorganize. But if you give them
more
if you watch that interview,
leeway.
Linus like, Mr. President, how do you
feel? I kept telling you guys, like,
How
you
do you
asked him
feel?
6 times.
But that was the essential question, because what
Yeah.
we saw
He
as the
also kept
audience is
dodging the
someone who
answers,
doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because that's important for us to know.
And every time Linus was like, dude, I'm trying to get you to,
I know.
dude, say
That's
something.
correct.
Open your eyes.
He's alive, right?
Yeah, that you see that point?
That one I
Yeah,
almost...
that's where it ended for me.
Maybe I have my good friend Dana said, switched off the TV. He said, you know what, at this point,
Yeah,
I'm not
I
watching
was
this.
done at that point.
You know, even me, that was my lowest point in that interview.
Yeah.
To say somebody who's, man.
Shot 8 times.
But also
Yeah.
because when the interview dropped, after the interview was like, worst decision State House
Ever.
Hussein and the guys did. Then progressively, now you start to understand why they did it. Because now everything starts to make sense.
Yeah.
Because he backed, he distanced himself from the police. Independent.
He said they have a budget. And
talk about the criminals.
He alisema kutoka the beginning.
Yeah.
From the day alikuwa pale akiswearin.
Exactly.
Alisema nimepatia police budget yao. In fact, that is my first, nimetenga.
Yeah.
Wapewe budget yao.
Yeah.
First
But he's still the
first.
commander in chief.
Yeah.
True.
So, but then you see now he was setting himself, like, that's what I'm saying. To him, he knew all the
It's
steps.
chess. It's chess. And
Kabisa.
we are pawns.
It's chess, bro. Like,
man.
I felt so played, man.
Yeah, but let's
Still do.
watu wachukue kura bana.
Honestly.
Hiyo ndio kitu
Okay,
mzuri.
you're refusing with my ID. Nitachukua kura.
Kwanza unajua wanataka kuweka digital ID.
Bro.
Even after the court said no, but we know, of course, they
It's
don't
gonna
respect the courts.
happen.
Me, genuinely, after now this, the positions, when the key positions went, the new ones went to the opposition, I just felt very vindicated.
Defeated.
No, vindicated, because I remember leading up to the elections, Mwass and I were like, I didn't vote, to be honest.
Okay.
And the reason why I didn't vote is I did not want any of the options.
Okay.
Even when we had Sifune, the first thing we asked him is like, to us, you guys are just
the same.
and
you proved it.
So now I just feel very vindicated, because I'm like, I genuinely didn't see an option here.
True.
And now to see all of them back, it is just circled back together. I'm like,
Yeah, and if you look at it, if they say if you know, you know. If you look at the positions that have been given to the opposition, they are very,
Intricate.
very related to the opposition. Let me just say it like that. If you just do a quick search on
Analysis.
businesses and all these things and all that, you're like,
definitely,
okay. All right. Yeah, okay. But I guess, the thing you're supposed to do is, it was such a chance though. It was such a chance to actually just steer the country in a different way.
but if you don't care,
Such a chance.
but you wouldn't do that if you don't care, because clearly you see from the appointment, from the interviews, from everything, It's just someone who doesn't care.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's
Like if you cared kidogo, you'd change some things,
Yeah,
But it's just someone who doesn't
Well,
care.
he changed one thing. He put that 32-year-old, the CS water.
Oh, the guy who doesn't have a
the
car.
guy doesn't have a car, but has a lot of money.
But has a lot of money. Yeah. So how do you move around? It's okay.
Sindio,
Matatu.
Suna nini? Magic
That's
carpet.
in the Gen Z.
Yes, was Senke.
Yeah, so yeah.
In like the round table, how many people are Akina Linus here? Like from studio directors, Nini?
So they can probably hear because there are 3 stations, but normally we try to have the one person, and I suspect because the senior most is normally the one Jeff normally calls Monica. So normally you have one director.
Okay.
But you can hear everything else. Sorry, you can hear everything else around. So
Is it not distracting?
Well, you get used to it.
Okay.
Because like I remember even when I used to do news, like if somebody goes, "Where umbwa? Where can your story?" You go, I can hear all that. Even if you're doing an interview,
And still have to read.
Yeah, you read, and even in the middle of an interview, guys are talking. Hey, like Cheque Arsenal in the middle of an you hear.
Hey.
Yeah, but they also try to be. So it depends on the type of person you are. Some people will let that side. Some people will say like, "Munyamaze."
Yeah.
And you see sometimes when an anchor is reading, then you just then pull the thing off.
Yeah.
That time it's too much noise.
Mfano Arsenali na amekumbuka.
I'm a man. Yeah, but normally that time you have.
Okay.
They tell you take this, you're taking a break, or press more on that question.
Oh,
Yeah,
ask
don't
him
let
how
it.
he
Yeah,
feels.
ask him again. He hasn't answered you. Or when he says, in 1922 I did this. Just quick fact check. He says, no, that is a lie. Circle back and tell him that's a lie and this is the actual thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So yes, that's how it's. That's how it works.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so TV47 is the one I didn't see coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cape Media.
Cape Media. TV47. So I had a relationship with the chairman for a while back when he was doing things in. He opened his university in Rwanda. I went there and we did a couple of things for him there, some consultancy here and there, and then so literally when I left Citizen, I was like, okay, no more media. I'm actually done. Let's see what else we're gonna do out there. And then one Sunday he just called me. He said, "Hey, dude, where you at? Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm chilling. I'm here, man. What's up?" I said, well, not like that, but of course, it was more of, "Uko wapi kijana?" So we went, sat, and I just remember one thing I told him because I just said, I want to come in, but I really don't want to, like, employment per se, so I want to bring you a product. And luckily he had done Churchill, and so he knew like exactly what I was talking about, that format of, bringing a product versus being
A proper employee.
a proper employee. So that's what happened. Then as time went by, the product was doing well. Then now I got into, again, consultancy to do being a digital director for the digital platforms. And it was all right.
But 8 months?
Yeah, so 8 months. Well, I guess when, and I think you all called me up by evening.
Yeah. Last week we should.
Yeah, just like I said, when visions, when you start, you have one common vision. But when your visions are not aligning, I always say, and also because I've been doing this for long, I can tell. I don't need 2 years to tell, hapa tutakuwa na shida kidogo, because we are not in the same page. So if your visions are not aligning in what you want to do, then it's better to leave. And to leave also, in Luo we say, wawere kawa no siep. Like, let's leave when we are friends, so that then we can still do other things together. But we just didn't agree on this one thing. So
it saves everyone time.
Yeah. So especially when it's a systemic thing, I'm like, okay, let's just, you all are doing okay. I see your vision. It's not aligning with my vision. I could be wrong. And you see, I could say today that there's a proper problem at TV47. Then next year they are the number 1 station. It just means same thing. And since I'm a Manchester United fan, 1998 Kianza, when Arsenal was playing Charity Shield with Man U and Man U lost 3-0, everybody had written off Manchester United. But in that same season, 98-99, the end, in 10 days, they won the treble. So I can't write an epitaph and say TV47 is doomed. No. They are very much on the right idea. It's just that for me at the time, they have the right idea. They just need to make a few changes in the system.
Yeah.
And they'll be easy, man. They'll be easy because they have brilliant people out there. And shout out to Shatta Boy, who's doing his show, I Revives, on Saturday, and Betty Charlo, and now Shiksha. So watakuwa sawa. Lakini ikifika siku hata mimi niko vindicated kama huyu pia ni sawa. But I obviously wish them 100% well. I back them, I post them. they're my peeps. Yeah.
So now, Wabebe, I saw you have.
Wabebe!
Skits.
Wait, before we
Just say Wabebe.
Yeah. Before we get to Wabebe, what was this story about you moving to an international media house?
That was this guy, Ali Noor.
President Ali Noor.
Okay.
This former MP want to be
He's never been an
Former
MP, but
Never
now
been
he's-
MP.
Yeah.
Former aspirant.
Oh, former aspirant. That guy. He just
brained
tweeted
him.
and said, my friend Willis is joining CNN with Larry. I'm like, dude,
Why are guys cloud chasers?
I said, and he said, thank you very much. Everybody bought that story. Well, it helped me, but there's a time I went to, what's the new hotel at GTC? The Marriott.
Marriott, yeah.
And as I was going in, whoa. I was like, shout out to Larry. You feel. Like there was a new respect for me. And those like, hello, sir. Before it was, hey, Willis, what's
Hello, sir.
This way. They gave me a tour and they're like, if you want to host your, the CNN awards,
Oh
we have
my
a
God.
beautiful space over here and it's great. And they do have a beautiful space, by the way. Shameless plug, they do. But yeah, I was like, wow, okay, all right there. And of course, me, Sikatai Baraka.
Just like,
Leo, maybe I can eat. Do you know if I actually get called to do CNN, I'll do it for a year or two. Just to take it off the board. Yeah, like I did it.
Because
also,
do you apply?
yeah, I mean, even while I was at season, I was applying to BBC, CNN. I did actually do an interview with BBC once, but the place we disagreed is because the international media has a very strict policy on posting. Like you can't
Influencer work or
influence.
side work. Okay.
Yeah, you can't be like,
Really?
yeah, because
That's a bag they've taken from
yeah,
you.
that one is like that one.
Kwanza for you.
For me,
That's
and
a
at that
lot.
time, Sasa Kwanza, me at that time, I was like in all the ones that they are not for. I was in betting, I was in alcohol, I was all these places. So they're like, what are you gonna do? I said, well, I have these contracts that are running. Both these contracts are a year, so I can take your package because it was more or less. So most of the time, sometimes when you move to an international place, it's not really for the pay. The pay might be the same, slightly high because of the dollar and pound rate, but it's more the experience and the exposure and just doing things at that level because they are way advanced,
for sure.
more open, etc. So for me nilikuwa naambia sasa mkiweza nitachukua hii pay yenu sawa, lakini hii ya 1 year na hii simu nipatie. Hata mimi nilikuwa nauliza sana, munipatie hii opening signing fee.
Yeah.
Ndo sasa nikuje juu wenyewe hii bag nitaiacha.
It's a fair ask if you
It's a fair ask.
Sasa hii bag sasa nitaiacha na sasa ndo hii na si ati uongo, these are the contracts and I'm transparent, this is what I'm being paid to see. So they were like, yeah, we'll get back to you. They never did. But I did apply. At least I was happy I went for the interview. Just getting the slot for an interview. Hiyo ilinifurahisha.
Yeah,
I
and
did
even
the
getting to the
interview.
last level.
Yes, nilifika hapo I did an interview with 2 of them there who are also former colleagues in the media space. I think Newton, and then also 2 ladies from the UK, and they were very specific in asking me tumeona social zako. So if you all are applying for those things, check out the social. Make sure you look at your socials, what you're posting, what you do. And they even asked me about cases za kitambo, like when I used to get in trouble on trends back then. Oh, nini. Yeah, so they check all of that. So for me, I was like, hapo. But wakiniita
Mi
nitaitika.
sasa venye nasemanga kudinyana daily.
Sasa
Forget,
unaona,
hata usiapply.
So we want to ask you about something that keeps coming up in your social media.
BBC and not our logo.
What is specifically this word, kudanya? Kudanyane? Can you help me pronounce it? Yeah, it means something sexual, doesn't it? I'm like, no, yeah.
Then naambia ni Kikuria, no, it doesn't.
Utasema maheni.
It's a popular dish in Japan.
It's kudinyana. Yeah. Give me that kudi. Okay, sorry.
Kiamsha dinywa.
Oh my God. Amazing. Yeah, so that's the deal, yo.
So Wabebe, now we are selling it as an event experience.
Yes, now it's an event experience
You know
for
there's
Wabebe. Skate City, 9th of August.
Yes.
I mean, we have 9th of August. It's going to be great. And, people, I encourage people to keep on buying the tickets. We're on triply.co/Wabebe and Hustle Sasa. Go ahead and check your tickets, man. Ni 1,000 for now. The closer to the day, inakuwa more expensive.
Kanapanda.
And we have Wangukanaya, wa Douglas wako hapo, Ben Soul, of course, Gogo, Claudia Naisabwa. Man, we have so many artists. Tipsy G, Godi Tena. We have 16 acts.
There's about to be a
Tipsy
bash.
G, Godi Tena, Ran Scooby, Spoiler, Zero Sufuri.
How many hours do you have? Is it 2 days?
No, it's from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. And out of that,
but how do you program 16 performers in that short period of time?
Oh wait, that's what we do. Like so normally when I shoot a show, I try to get about 3 shows from one shoot.
You're filming this as well.
Yes, I'm filming this, so it's to experience the recording, and then there's an after party.
So is this content where is this content going to sit on YouTube?
On the tube. Yeah,
that's the way to go. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
This mainstream media thing for Kenya, I feel like they've lost the plot.
Yeah, I think also it's because I think what needs to happen for mainstream is they just need to adjust the attitude and be more open.
That's the thing. But no one is ready for that.
Adjusting? Is it because there's older people there who make decisions, or what's the problem?
I guess it's probably yes, but you see that argument can be in 2 ways, because one, it's been the same people.
True.
One, but two, it's these same people who have caused disruption before. So then the question is, why are they not causing disruption now?
But I think you also constantly need new ideas. If something has worked for you over time, and if it's not broken yet, there's no need to fix it.
And also because I think it's like you said, the more revenues start dipping, is then the more they'll become, and you've seen it, the more they're becoming awake to this new reality. I've sat in some interviews where they're trying to get, and some of these content creators, sometimes they call me to say, hey, these guys want me to do this. But you listen to what they're offering.
It doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, for example, back in the day with the Mungai Eve, ukiita Mungai Eve, mwambia sasa nataka kuja kwa station X. First of all, at the time, boss wake alikuwa analala naye hapo. Boss wake akamwambia, bosi, twende kwa ama tusiende, ama wendo job. So, bosi alikuwa hapo. Then, kushoot, alikuwa anakuja na shoot, tup. Ameweka tripod, nini, done. Wanaweka kwa YouTube studio, in, out.
Upload immediately.
Una-upload immediately. Hapo tuko YouTube studio, and you're done.
Yeah.
So you want to put it in a system where now she'll have like 3-4 bosses. Then you want to put content was now hiyo si family friendly.
Yeah, don't do this, don't do that.
Alafu tena time tukuja hapa lazima ingia hapa 8 utoke hapa.
Leave at 5.
Hey, sasa it
doesn't work.
So you need to change the whole model.
The model needs.
How long will it take them kuiona tu?
And then also the revenue. Also, you know, some of the people think these things are mtu anafanya tu. But now when you look at the back end, even I think one of the ways that she won that argument was she just opened her invoice, akawaambia watu hii ndo nalipwa this month peke yake na YouTube channel yangu versus what you're offering to pay me.
Yeah. Done.
Hata ingekuwa ni wewe and I'm an honest man. Utafanya aje? Yeah, so that was the challenge.
Yeah. All the best, man. I feel like digital is the way to go. Honestly. And it's very hard.
It's scary.
I know it's scary.
It's very scary.
It's very scary, but embrace the scary.
Yeah.
But just in come andamano. I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm still going to go.
But you're still going.
Yeah.
It's scary. And I mean, shout out to Ivy, because she... Yenda anajuanga sasa when I'm scared, I'm like, babe, I don't know if they're gonna even come. I don't know. And she's like, no. I think one of the things that I love about Ivy is that she's always just encouraged me from the moment I met her. Always. Number one fan on my corner. Always. And so I'm happy. And I'm so happy that
it's nice to have her
she's and that she's the mother of my children. And that, you know, people, you don't discuss the person who is the mother of your children really determines the future generation.
That's very true.
And to see those kids shine the way they're shining is partly because of me, yes, and mostly because of her.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Shout out to
Ivy.
Shout out to Ivy.
Yeah, man.
Last question from my end.
Yeah.
Do you think Jeff would be down to come hang out with us?
Jeff Koinange?
Can you ask him?
Yes.
For real?
He'll be very down.
Will you ask him?
Oh, yes, I will. I will definitely ask him. Oh, my God. Oh, Jeff. Oh, you guys will have a ball. Jeff is actually so much fun.
Thank you. Please
Jeff is he's strict. That's what he taught me. He's strict because he's negotiated some of my deals for me.
Wow.
But he's very Jeff. I remember one time somebody was telling me, you know, like it was this company that wants to take you for holidays, right? So they say like, we'll take you for the holiday and we'll do this and this and this and then and on return you post for us and stuff like that. And Jeff basically told me, listen, he said, this is what you're gonna do. Whenever you get into a plane, number one, you never go to the right, always to the left. Always business class. I said, no, sir. I need this. I need to go holiday. I need the no. He said, give me your phone. And he took it and he typed out my demands. He said, 1, 2, this business class. We want money for shopping tukifika pale, and we're only going to post X number of times. Hit send before I could even edit it. Hakukuwa na ile option ya kuedit hizo day.
Oh, Lord.
Tup! I was like, I lost it now. Hii ni benda. Ninapigana nikondange na ile yeye analipwa na mimi nalipwa ni times nini. You know those guys actually accepted. I was like, what? So he always says, me, I can't believe you're a Christian. And one of the basic tenets of the Christian book is you have not because you ask not. The worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
So ask. Uliza wacha waseme no bas. Alafu sasa okay, sawa, we can negotiate. But most of the times, sometimes we play small because of the way we see ourselves and the way, again, you see we're in a broken system. It trickles down to, like, having a broken system at the top, even just at eCitizen haifanyi kazi, unaambiwa weka vitu e-teams haifanyi kazi. You know, like if it gets to you, so that you also downplay yourself and you're used to things not working. So hata kwa kuuliza vitu, unacheza chini, no isiende, you know. And it's okay, but pia it takes some time. Usikuwa tu ati leo ndo umefika
kesho umeanza.
Ushaanza bwana, leta hiyo nini? Leta
cock.
Leta I want you to get ready. I want you to jog. So yeah, shout out Jeff. Jeff!
Yes.
You better come through, man.
Appreciate it.
Kujuka hapa.
Smoke.
Waambie, oh my.
Oh wow.
Oh my.
Nice.
Man, thank you so much for making
yeah.
Yeah,
This was
man.
nice.
Na umekaribishwa tena, utarudi tena.
Nitarudi. Bado kuna vitu nafanya. We still have Wabebe. Experience is coming. We're going to do that. We have 2 new things I'm going to do with Wabebe I don't think I've ever been done before. That's good. I still have music I'm putting out.
Yeah.
I have songs out there with many people. Uaya, Okelo Maxwell.
Nice.
And
Julius Makraimbo.
No, it's called Makrimbo. Naitwa Makrimbo. Maxwell ni Okelo Maximus vile fena umuita. We have some songs out there hata with the one and only. Yeah. So by the time hii mwaka inaisha utakuwa umeniitaita hapa tufanye mambos, but please follow Willis Raburu Wabebe experience pale hivyo kwenye the tube kwenye mtandao, then Willis Raburu on all other platforms. Na tafadhali msidanganywe, number 1 siitishangi watu pesa. Number 2 kuna some blockchain crypto thing that's using my face. Siko hapo. Msidanganywe jameni. Msidanganywe kwa pesa mlio nayo na zakayo already ni duni. Mnataka kunyang'anywa tena na watu. Kataa. Usikubali kutumiwa. Kubali kutumiwa tu na Yesu.
Amen. Amen, I guess. Hallelujah.
Those are the guys you should get here too.
Yes.
Rashid and Lulu.
No, we wanna. How do I even reach Rashid and Lulu, man?
Okay, wacha nitakuwa plug
Sile,
wa
sawa,
guest.
sawa.
Citizen TV tumekuachia.
Mambo ya Royal Media. Royal Media.
Rashid and Lulu, that would be such
That'd be
an
so
epic.
fun.
That would be great, right?
I know.
Lakini Swahili wanasema.
I know.
Yani,
You know, I
mwanangu yani
Yeah.
wakisha
Nuambianga Rashid ananienjoyingi sana time ya.
Pakata.
Wakishajipakata
Oh my
kwenye
God.
kiti. Utasema tu naam.
Unasema pakata.
Imagine.
Kupakata ni kufanya, si ni kukaa chini.
No.
Hiyo ni kujipapasa.
No.
Oh, that's kujipapasa.
Kujipakata is also.
Lakini unajua wanazitumia. Unajua Rashid ni Mswahili sasa baba nini.
Wanaongea English at any point.
Oh yeah, Rashid speaks English. Yes.
That would be fire. We do a nice Swahili
Lulu
intro,
actually
alafu-
has done some reporting in English.
Bro, we'll just do a nice Swahili intro. After hapo switch yote.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, tell us about
But they should do for you. You know that intro they do where ukipata pale umepata na usipopata unapata pata. Na ukipata umepakacha na ukipakacha inapakachika na basi. Lakini zaidi ya yote wakianza kwa hiyo
That would be fire.
Can we have
And then you
them?
repeat it all in English. If you get it there, you've gotten it. If you haven't, you've got it.
No, for real. If you can make those two happen,
That would be
That'd
fire.
be nice.
It will mean
nitawapigia
the law,
coinage. We call him coinage.
Yeah.
Jeff Coinage.
Jeff Coinage.
Yeah.
Yeah, mko na fire extinguisher personable.
Yo, by the way.
Nyingi sana.
By the way,
say
hiyo itakuwa-
less.
kwanza
Say
ukisema
less.
next-
Tutumia for the first time.
Bora away from vitu za Fares.
Exactly.
Inaweza affect hizi?
Hizi ni ziko huko kwa studio.
Tuweke hapa nyuma sijui. Akishakaa tu before
Asema
tuanze.
tu
Tumwambia bless the saints.
Akasema before you start. Oh my. Ladies and gentlemen,
Kuna mabench
sit
huko.
back. It's all about those letters that follow themselves on the keyboard. JKL. Sit back. But you'll have to have more space here because you know Jeff asks you questions.
Oh, I know.
And then he changes his voice. So he starts big and says,
then,
he starts saying, this is a beautiful process, but I have to ask. How did it make you feel?
Does he speak like that all the time?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God,
He says,
your character.
mambo. That's how he says hi, mambo.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff, but he's so cool.
I think he's been in character all his life.
his life.
That's how he speaks.
The day he retires, atakuwa, "We, hiyo ilikuwa noma."
End scene. Like, woo. Okay, guys.
It's been a while. Oh my Lord.
But he has such an interesting life. Me, I don't know.
No,
He
seriously.
has such an interesting life.
Yeah, he does. He's really cool people. He's really cool people.
lived life.
Maisha.
Yeah, he's strict. He don't take bullshit, but he's really cool. He's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, episode 186, Willis Raburu. We are
Mic check.
over 26.
This is
The Bagger Podcast.
This is the Brunch Club.
Over 26.
Welcome back to
The mics are closed.
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand.